don't know exactly
okay.
what we're doing, to be honest.
Is this like a crack
It
theory
is
that
one
we
of
each came
your
up with?
crack theories. One of
Yes.
your crazy things you've
Yeah,
said.
one of your personal crack theories is the one you're going to talk about.
I already heard what it is.
Oh.
I already heard what yours is specifically, and it's going to be funny.
Is it one that I believe is crack?
It's one you have said in your channel's lifespan. Maybe you don't believe it.
It's one that you have said.
It.
One that
I
you said
probably
that I
have.
think. All right, the code is up for Jackbox, so everybody that wants to join.
I'm currently trying to figure
Yeah,
out
can
if I'm
actually hear it
live or
screen.
not, and that's my problem at the moment.
All right.
You
You might
I
sit
just
out
want
this
to know
round.
whether I
then.
still believe the crack theory that I suggested.
Okay,
Because
You
I
will.
believe
You still
rather
believe it.
crack
You still
theories.
believe it.
Okay.
I think you still
Okay.
believe it.
I educated myself before this. It's a
Heck
serious
yeah.
business.
okay, I am live right now.
Okay, I'm
Okay,
in.
All right.
okay, I need
Hurry up and
join
join
mine
the
is, 'cause it's a real
Jackbox. Okay, one
toss-up.
sec.
What do you mean? What is yours? You came up with it like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, it is that one. Okay, just
Yes.
making sure. Dude,
did it.
you might have pulled something. You might have done something weird.
I literally helped you.
Yeah.
Well, I will say I don't have one for Withered Circle. He's gonna have to freestyle.
Wait, we talked about this. We do have my crack theory. We
Oh,
already talked about this earlier.
FFPS. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yep, there are exactly, like, maybe a few of you who know what we're talking
So are we defending our crack theories, or what's going on?
Yeah. You're just gonna try to
Explain
say
it
that you
again.
because I'm pretty sure when I bring it up, everyone believes it. So
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
I'm gonna say
about.
it.
I'm not fully sold, but yeah, I guess.
As long as we're
Yeah.
not just making fun of each other's crazy ideas,
No,
that'll be
no.
good.
No.
No, it's
This will be
for fun.
respectful.
It's for fun.
Okay.
Don't worry.
I've been mildly traumatized by Twitter.
Oh yeah, that
Okay.
happens.
We all
that.
haven't, we all-
I deactivated my Twitter. I was just done
Valid.
with it.
Probably for the best.
I didn't
No
use it
abs
much,
and
so it wasn't
willpower.
like I was losing anything. I was only gaining.
You know, we can just make fun of Cyanide though, because he deserves
What the heck?
it.
I'm catching so many strays, man.
In the Midnight Motorist video too.
Yeah.
I was literally just watching it, and the first comment I saw was, "Why do you?" I forgot. Like, why do I keep catching strays?
Catching
Like
strays.
1 second later, Cryo caught a crazy stray from me.
Cryo and I, we have beef. Are only 4 people joining? Raven, are you in?
I'm
You're
in.
in.
Withered
Unwithered,
I'm in.
Unwithered's in. Cyberskox is
I'm
in.
in.
By the way,
Okay,
I don't know
Cryo,
what
do you wanna join?
Jackbox is, so
No,
I
I
don't know
won't be
what
in
I'm
for this
expecting
one.
here.
All right,
Me neither.
we'll
I
go
have
for
no
it.
idea.
Let's see.
All right, Squawks, you need to start the game.
Oh, okay.
All right. We
Survive the internet.
Drive the internet. That's just life for us.
So
That's
you're
what I do
writing like
every
you're
day.
writing like fake Twitter posts.
Oh,
Ooh.
Oh,
in this
Lord.
group?
Yep.
Nice.
Oh yes.
Oh,
This is
no.
dangerous.
Let's keep it to things that will not get me banned from YouTube.
Ladies
You
and
guys
gentlemen, I know
have
what
the
I'm
option
doing
to do
today.
the funniest thing.
Is it just me, or has it not started yet? We're still waiting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
we're
to
still-
survive the
Yeah,
internet.
yes. The code is up. You can join the audience chat. I know, you can join the audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, chat. This
Is he
is
just
Jackbox.
is he just explaining the game right now?
Yeah, we're starting sooner
Yeah.
than anticipated because we're having fun, and I wanted to capture it.
Yeah. Yeah, anyone that does the code should be able to join the audience and vote. Alrighty.
So is it starting?
Yeah, yep, it's up. And good, yeah, there are. It's only us 4 playing,
Oh,
so
God.
we'll be safe.
Oh god.
Worst first prompt.
I don't care what anyone says about that. That is fact. I love this green screen. I just realized I need to load up my VTuber. Whoops.
Yeah, I might want to get that done. You have time.
You
have what, half an hour?
Yeah, about.
Okay.
Yeah, between you and me, if you ever feel stupid sometimes, I forgot to join my own Jackbox game.
How does that happen?
Wait, how?
Man.
I don't know.
How are you not in it by default?
It's Gardic phone automatically puts you in. I have to log in on a separate device.
Chat, I need help on this one.
yeah.
Chat, help me out here.
So you're just watching.
You goofed, bro.
It's okay though. We'll restart it after, and it'll be peak.
Yeah.
Trying to be not offensive.
Oh, that's. Oh, I love
How
to
do
hear
I not
that
be offensive
right
with this
before
The
one?
word keyword in this keyword phrase is trying.
Oh no.
The implied phrase is failing.
God, what do
This
I do here?
is-
Oh, this is the worst mistake of my life.
What do I wish to gain from this stream? Fun.
Thank you, Ko. Thank you for
Wish
the
to gain
recommendation
fun.
for saving my career.
Mostly fun, but if we accidentally discover something that's stupid again,
Yeah.
that'd be bad. If we get 14 Theory Part 2, when's 28 Theory happening, Nara?
Things I believe.
I don't even know if 28 theory could be
28
a thing. You know what? For April Fools, I'll do a 28 theory.
We'll
How
find
about
a
that?
way. We'll find a way.
I'm so confused.
CCDCI.
That's optimal.
What the fuck?
It's
14 Fury, I think, is one of the crack theories that will be.
I don't think you guys
Oh,
know how to play this game.
I don't know what I'm
I
doing.
don't-
I've
I
never played
definitely
this
don't.
before. This is the first time I've ever played
Just going with my
Jackbox.
gut.
Eat healthy. No, so just make the hashtags the stupidest shit ever. So for next round, just make the hashtag something like related to FNaF.
Who looks the most ridiculous?
hashtag funerals.
Bum bum bum. Underscores back from the dead.
28 letters.
Yeah, just chilling, researching some stuff.
True. Researching Andrew Pizza.
I know plenty.
As
about
we
that
all
one.
do.
Nice.
Someone's telling me
14 theory for the Theory Awards. What's up?
apply a React camera in the corner of the stream. Should we do that?
I don't think. Raven, I'll let you have that one.
I have nowhere to put it.
Am I the only one who's just stuck on the same screen? I'm so confused with this game.
You should be
No,
watching.
so
the screen
there
on
should
stream
there
as well.
should be a prompt. So basically, you want to write something
I see it now.
that'll sound
What?
funny with a caption above it. Basically,
Okay.
like it could say, like for instance, it'd be like a ridiculous thing to say,
Mm.
when you're at the store, and you say some shit like, "I hope they sell Andrew Pizza here." Like that would be what you write as yeah.
I hope
Yeah,
they
okay.
sell Andrew Pizza.
That would
jeez.
that would be the so make it related to FNaF or comedy or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Something we'd know.
Don't write an actual hashtag. Make it like stupid. But
The
what I'm
goal
sad
is to
about,
be as
TDread?
dumm as possible.
pretty much.
Hey, TJ, you know what I'm sad about right now that I just realized?
What is that?
I spent so much time making that starting soon screen and I don't even get to use it.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
really
that'll be a
funny.
next time.
You just like end the stream when we stop playing Jackbox, and then you can just like
Yeah.
restart the stream.
Never.
Yeah,
nothing
for like
happened.
30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
16 theories that the minigames are in 16-bit.
Mm.
I think
What kind of theory is
do. Who's been going into Rise chat and telling them about 14 theory? This is so this
that?
cannot
Saying
be.
14
Stop
theory
telling
saved
Rytos
my
about
Save my
14
life.
theory.
14
Yeah.
theory saved my life.
life.
Dude, we got the Gibby shout out 2 weeks in a row. That was fire.
That is actually nuts.
Dude, his 8-hour video is a godsend, bro. I'd be putting that on while I fall asleep.
Maybe I need to do that.
I should do that, yeah.
I've been having trouble sleeping recently. Maybe Gibby can save me.
He'll just come into your room and just sit down and start talking.
Oh, hey, Sonny Q's in chat.
Oh my god.
Hey, JoJo's here.
She made it.
Woo, woo. I'm cleaning my room right now. Hi, folks. I'm being
What's
productive.
going on?
How's my
Formerly.
Yeah, so
Relatable.
my sister-in-law's going back to her apartment, so I have to grab my cat from her a couple days early. And my parents' house,
Longfish, no.
my bedroom is storage, so I have to cat-proof my room.
Oh boy.
And I literally have, like, for my plushie Kickstarter, we still have 3 full boxes of unopened plushies. And, like,
What's
there's like
going
2
on?
huge pieces of furniture, so. Whoop, whoop.
Yay.
I got entered inside of.
Oh, yeah. Was
Seriously.
it said that we're on live, by the way? Just just so everyone's aware, because I know
Yeah, we are live.
I'm going to confess to committing several crimes on air.
Perfect.
No.
On live television.
No, yes, do it.
On live FNaF Vision. Oh yeah, I totally.
Tell us every song you've ever illegally downloaded right now.
A bag of clothes in the back of my closet. Wow, all these high heels I'll never be able to wear again because I have to get AFOs. Woo woo. I should just make a Depop and sell all my high heels.
You're making me laugh so hard I'm getting a headache.
My entire family.
Insane.
I had to tell my entire family to, like, kindly please not scream at the football game too loud so I don't scare the viewers. And then they were
Probably a
like,
good idea.
they were like, what viewers? I was like, for the podcast stream. And they're like, what podcast? I was like, that one with all my YouTube friends. And they were like, which friends? I'm like,
That's
the
insane.
FNaF ones.
Wow.
And they're like, Lord, FNaF, you're 20. I was like, yes, FNaF.
What friends is an insane comment.
That's wild.
Little do they
I
know,
don't
the
remember
creator
who
of
this
FNaF is in fact older than 20.
Yeah.
Literally. Oh my
Whoa,
God.
Wait.
And I'd say he's
On a
pretty
Minecraft
successful.
Quite.
If you hear me fall and die, you can laugh. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm storing all these.
We
They
got
shipped me
permission.
7 boxes of plushies. Each box weighs 40 pounds, and I have 3.5 left.
Jesus.
Oh, that's
People-
wild.
Holy.
So we got all the ones fulfilled yesterday, minus like 2 I need to pack. But shameless plug, I'm gonna drop them on my Ko-fi later. Oh my gosh.
Also, assuming we don't want to move out of this chat, Withered or whoever owns the server, you should probably lock it once everyone gets here.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna like all the 12.
Oh,
No minors. No minors allowed. I didn't get a candle. You know what's so funny? My little brother likes Five Nights at Freddy's because of me. And I'll ask him, I'll be like, did you see like TD's new video? Or did you see ID's video? And he's like, I don't really watch those ones. I'm like, excuse you?
Oh, damn.
Oh, we're down the
That's
stairs.
Bro wants to have a podcasting career and won't join my podcast group.
Man.
He's just a silly little guy. Okay. Hey, the people, buy my plushies, please. I'm fundraising for a new service dog because my current one is very old. Give me your money. Or give my dog your money.
Someone in chat said adult theory alter S.
What?
No.
Confusing with. I like theory fusions. That's kind of fun. Just like picking 2 different theories and coming up with whatever the name would mean if you mix them.
Sometimes I'm glad
We
my
still need to
chat
do
isn't hyper
PowerPoint
cursed.
night.
We do need to do PowerPoint night.
Yep.
Bite of will care.
Bite of will.
Oh god.
Yeah, we were gonna do that stream where we were trying to convince everyone about like a Liza plush and shit, but that should never happen.
Yes. And then we got too busy and everything fell apart.
Ned
Me.
Bear's favorite genre.
Will care.
be William rigging Fredbear to bite his son so he'd be immortal or something? What would
Yeah,
William
there you
do?
go.
Why?
What?
That was
This
good.
is cool. I like that. That's such a fun thing. I wanna do a weird.
You know
stream
what?
like that.
Maybe I should make my dad move all this heavy furniture, but like, why would I do that? I'm a strong, independent woman.
Yeah.
If you hear some okay,
Lift
this
those
is your warning.
boxes.
No, we're moving on to an entire TV credenza.
Oh no.
So if you hear any comically loud crashing, that would be me, and I'm probably fine.
Okay.
It's just gonna be a bunch of background noise. You've got the crash coughing in the corner.
Yeah.
Now, when you
Literally
say
me.
probably, what are the odds we're talking about here?
If you hear comedic crashing,
Yeah, like what are the odds that you're fine?
like 95%.
Okay,
Just gotta flip a coin
accident
20
prone.
times.
we could laugh.
Yeah, no, it's
Just
fine.
making
This is-
sure.
We can laugh. Good thing you're
No, I
clearing
would-
that now.
No, I'm clarifying that you guys can laugh as I move this big old TV credenza. I need
Good.
magic movers. Too bad. Do you guys know what magic movers are? Or are those like really 2005?
I don't know what that is.
Are those
I
the
don't
slidey
know.
I know what a
things you
magic
put under
mover is.
furniture?
Yeah,
circles taking the
Oh,
lead.
yeah.
Then yes, I do.
but my dad literally has some from literally 2005, so that's why I didn't know. I feel like William acted like dragging the bodies to the back room.
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah, no,
So-
Payday, I was
That's
thinking
heinous.
that too.
Moment.
yeah, no. This is literally giving. It's giving hashtag follow me.
Where's Matt Pat? We couldn't get him, but next time.
Yeah,
Oh,
next
yeah.
time for sure.
Hey, no, you guys have me though.
You-
Remember, I'm like Matt Pat's long lost kid or something.
Yeah,
Remember they said
we have the next best thing.
got Joe. You got Joe Pat.
Ooh.
You got JoJo or something. You got psychic friend JoJo. Wow, I have a bedroom again. How can be? Why is there a pile of leaves in my room?
How did they get
What?
there?
I think I had an outdoor market a couple weeks ago, and I think some of them just got stuck on top of one of my boxes of stuff. So, it's okay.
What is this cryptic lore message? Remember what they did to you. What the fuck? It was like lore in
That's the thing from
Jackbox
FNaF
now.
4, isn't it?
Remember what they did to you was heinous.
No, that's something else.
That reminds me of the
I'm sorry,
one
guys. I am
encyclopedia
tired in
line.
addition to being
Prince,
sick,
the
so if
stream's on both
if
of
I'm not
ours.
completely there, I apologize.
Yeah,
It's
that's all
It's all
okay.
good. Don't worry about
It's okay.
it.
I
I
will
understand.
we'll give you a little forehead kiss if you want. It'll make you feel better.
Thank you.
Here, I should quickly
So if I
probably
just
mention
remember
to
like
my
being more insane
viewers.
than usual, it's the sleep deprivation.
Hey, well, slight more insanity is a good thing. We like insanity here. Are you really a FNaF fan if you're not a little insane?
Yeah, that's
So
it.
true.
Like, comes with the culture.
Oh, this
Mhm.
hat that I bought that I forgot to take out of the packaging. Nice.
Liberty, what a joke. That was hilarious.
So for how long does the round go on? Because we've been here for a while.
Yeah, this is the last round.
Let's check my.
Okay.
Oh, good. It's just like I have no idea what's going on. I just like write a prompt every.
Oh,
time.
I already know. I knew it.
My room is clean as long as you don't look in my closet.
Andrew pizza.
Oh
Do you
man, I
just-
feel that.
Did he just
Last
shove all
night-
of the trash in there and just hope no one looks?
It wasn't the
Oh
trash.
wait,
it was
that's the red snake
Or is it
story.
like the
That one with the
clothes?
cat is the
all
red
the
snake story.
boxes.
Ooh. The
Yeah,
kitten
shameless
is in the
plug.
shoe
Everybody
box.
go buy my art. Go buy my. I have Five Nights at Freddy's ornaments. They're on sale. We have too many. Oh, and my desk is even worse than everything else. Oh.
Crap. The podcast
I refuse to
starts
let you
soon.
sleep, Zach.
We've been here for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, it does. It does. Rytos will be here at 8. So same with Gibby.
Yeah, Giddy
Me
is
when
fine.
my when the famous Pookies appear.
I'm already
Oh,
nervous on
great,
another
one
level
nil.
just by being here.
This is gonna be great.
You'll
Okay,
do great,
that was
Nara.
me
Trust.
This is gonna be fun.
when-
I'm doing my best.
Jackie's
That was me
box,
when
slow and
Rytos-
reverb.
That was me last year, like early 2023, when Rye reshared that video that I'd made, the craft timeline thing with all the, the whiteboard. Okay, I got a letter in the mail, but when that video was filmed, our school got hacked, like my whole college got hacked. So I can get a monetary
Congrats.
settlement. Should I take the free $20?
Good job, Raven.
Yes.
Wait, what? What
Free
happened?
$20 Dubs.
You won.
My
We were
school
barely
got-
paying attention.
Oh,
Wait,
did I?
how? I'm not seeing like what's going on. What's going on?
Yeah, no.
I have no idea
What's
what
going on
happened.
is
I think
Narrow
we-
Raven won.
How did
I
I
think we
win?
should have explained how Jackbox.
Yeah, we miscalculated. I'm multi-4ing.
Can we go back to playing Garlic Phone? I don't get
Yeah.
it. My P brain is too small.
I think I just ulti-4'd out of my stream.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh my god.
Ow.
Wait, so
I was
your
on the
stream
wrong
just
monitor.
crash?
You might get an influx of viewers, Raven.
Oh
but this is
my
why we had you. Because you
Do
actually know how
people
these
even know
scores
that
work.
I'm live right now?
Oh, yeah, the stream is down.
Oh my
Oh
god.
crap! Emergency.
TDread.
Uh-oh.
TDread, we need to figure out why your
I'm gonna
streams keep
copy the link and
crashing.
send it to
Dude,
chat.
Tell T-Dread's chat to come over
It's
to
'cause I
my channel for
ulti-4'd out of it
now.
on accident.
T-Dread, can you tell Nightbot to fuck off?
Yeah.
Banned me for posting a link in chat.
It banned you.
He banned you.
Yes, he did. Okay, I'm back. Your bot sucks, T-Dread.
Okay, it's okay. I'm going back in. I'm remaking the
But the
streams. Everything's gonna be
someone
fine.
said
This is
such a
actually probably better
T-Dread
anyway.
moment.
What the hell? I got placed in timeout. I didn't even get banned. You have
We're
been
back, we're
placed
back, we're back,
in
we're back.
timeout by the owner of this video or a moderator.
We're not back.
Oh, we're not back. We're not back. The stream just ended.
Oh,
Okay, hold
Oh,
on.
yeah.
I'm going live. We're saved. It's okay.
Are we saved?
connection
But
terminated.
you have to start it.
Connection
Oh,
term.
but you
Sorry
have
to
start a
interrupt
new
you.
Stream. Oh, that sucks. Oh.
Yeah, I did. It's fine. They'll probably come
Oh.
over. Anyway.
Well, hello,
Yeah, you can
other
paste the-
people
you should
who
be allowed
are,
to paste the link, I
joining
think.
my stream now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
come on, Nightbot
restarting
actually
it.
Just banned me.
It's
Nightbot
back
just
up.
actually banned me.
Yeah, T-Dread streams out. He's working on getting back up. He Alt F4'd out of his streaming app
Instead of Jackbox.
instead of Jackbox. So yeah.
T-Dread, can you just kill Nightbot because he's so annoying? I'm trying to alert the chat that they should move to your new stream.
I can't. I can make you a
We
mod.
gotta jump scare Nightbot, bros.
Can you please make me a mod? I promise I won't do anything
Yeah, I'll make you-
terrible
I can
to
make
your
you a
channel.
Raven
Yeah,
bought a
make
move
show.
me a mod. I promise to only do things that are really
terminal
funny.
errors in here.
With its
Holy
circle, it's
moly.
just gonna change your password.
All right.
No,
Let
I
me
can't do
add
that.
you as a moderator.
Thank you.
Add me as a moderator.
Oh.
I'll only
Oh my
abuse
God,
my
the
power.
influx of
my
viewers I
rotten
just
Nightbot's
got.
son.
I just went from like 10 to 31 in a
wait.
heartbeat.
That's big.
I don't mind modding either if while you guys are doing the big stream.
Yeah, I'll add you guys as a mod.
God, I hate my rotten Nightbot son.
Hey, rotten son. I love that
Justice
video
for
so much.
Withered.
Can you please paste the link to the new? Like, I've been trying to alert chat, but like,
Yeah. Are they in? Hold on. Let me do that.
Oh,
there's
Candy
about
Bunny's
60
here.
people.
Oh,
I think we're good.
hey, Candy Bunny, when can we
Yeah, I saw
collaborate?
Candy Bunny's
I've
in
been-
the Discord. I think she
Candy, I've
joined
been
it.
Candy Bunny's
asking
in
you
the
for like
Discord now.
3 months to collaborate. When are we collaborating?
Put her on the spot like that.
Yo.
It's not if anymore. It's when.
No, yo.
Raven is inevitable.
Gun is
I
to your
fear.
Yeah, I emailed you
Raven
and
is
commented
enough.
on like
Let's see if
5
Matt-
of your videos and then gave up. Oh no, Candy's thing just got removed by Nightbot.
Oh, that's tough.
Dreads, I think your bot
Dude, the
has a
live
problem.
chat-
The problem is that it sucks.
Isn't even. The live isn't even up. The live isn't even up. Yeah, the
Yes,
chat
it
on that
is.
last stream isn't even up anymore. All right, customization. Not.
I lived.
Oh,
Speak.
I lived,
You
you
did it.
guys.
Survive.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
True.
And then I had to go yell at my dad and brother
Maybe-
because they immediately started screaming.
Hey, we got Gibby.
What's
Give me
going
some too
on?
nice.
I have
Okay,
completely
Ben,
mooched
I think
viewers
it's time
off
we
of
start
T-Dread.
regrouping. I think it's
Alright.
I think it's time we start regrouping the stream and kind of just
Yeah.
organize things so we
Withered.
can get prepared for the podcast.
Circle. All right,
Okay.
Withered. I made you. I'm making you a mod. You're a mod right now.
Just as
Withered.
soon as-
you
just
wanna
as soon as
paste
I
the
give
link?
up, my bud.
Here, I'll quickly explain to chat like how everything's working. So at T-Dread, he's gonna be doing like the Google and everything for the podcast. I'm like more the panel and everything. So there's like a really fancy setup I have later on. So if you want to see like a fancy setup and everything, that's me. If you want to see like the Google investigation stuff like that, go to TDreads. But for now, we're just having fun until 15 minutes in the future.
Yeah, I'll add people onto the thing as well.
I'm gonna.
Yes, right.
Oh no!
Watch 14 theory.
Watch 14 theory.
Wait, Rightos watch 14 theory.
He watched
My
it.
life has been saved.
Oh
That's
no,
so
I'm
funny.
scared.
One of us.
I wonder what he's gonna say to me now.
Okay, actually, you know what, Raven? That was good because now you have more viewers now. That was actually
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
This
thank
was
you
actually
for
a lot of fun.
absolutely
It was
just shutting down your
strategic.
stream. Yeah, it was strategic.
It was strategic. It was strategic.
It was totally strategic.
All according to
Alright.
plan.
We're
according
regaining
to plan.
viewership slowly but surely. So.
Thank you for letting me mooch
That's
viewers
fine.
off of you.
No problem. One praying for.
We're gonna have fun today. I can
Alright.
tell.
Nightbot can't get me for spamming if I just keep hopping chats.
TDreads, as your mod, permission to execute Nightbot.
Can you even do that?
Braylon,
Yes, you
Nightbot
can
right
actually.
now.
You can ban Nightbot.
I'm just nervous. Wait, can I turn off? I could turn off some. I could turn off the spamming filter on it.
Actually, yeah, I should
Yes,
probably do
please
that
do.
too. Let me.
Yeah, I'll do
Let me
that.
do that.
I'll do that.
Chat, we are regrouping right now.
It would be in commands.
14 Fury
it would
killed
be
my
in
grandma. I
Chat
hope it didn't.
moderation. Repetitions off, and then links off. Okay, it should be fine now.
Okay.
Nightbot should not be as strict right now.
Chat moderation.
Yep.
Turn that off.
Everyone's
turn
spamming
that off.
14. Everyone's just
and my
spamming
brother
14.
just
Is
busted
everyone
up
just
here 'cause he
spamming
thought I'd fall
14?
over.
Right,
You
this
would
will,
have done FNaF YouTube, buddy.
Can we get everyone to spam 14 times in both chats right now?
That's how you
Oh
know.
god, no.
5, 6,
I'm gonna
7,
ban all of you for
12,
spamming.
Boom.
Don't worry, guys. You have permission on my
No,
channel. I'm the
this is
cool
gonna
one.
be chat all stream. This is gonna be 14.
I was gonna start just chanting it in the chat, but I figured that might derail things.
14.
Perhaps.
Oh god, the 14
TDreads,
spam is
permission
going
avatars
crazy.
on the main page.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, Withered?
You're missing some stuff. You're missing some people on the page.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting around to it. I'm still going and fixing all
Gotcha.
the, you know,
Ugh.
the things that I appear to have messed up.
I think we said 14 a little bit more than 14 times.
No.
Yeah.
That's preposterous.
People are just getting killed by Nightbot. Like every other, it's like a game of Russian roulette.
They still are. I turned it off.
I turned mine off.
Every
Everyone's
one,
safe
like,
in mine
50
now.
People get banned by Nightbot.
Yeah, no, everyone's safe
Okay,
in mine.
I'll kill Nightbot. Fine. Fine, I'll
Hey,
kill
Jax
him.
Lottle's in stream. Hi, Jax.
This is a risky game of roulette.
All right, he's dead.
So, what are we doing? Are we doing Jackbox or are we just like chatting for now?
Nightbot got Rightos.
No,
Nightbot
we'll
killed
just chat
Rightos.
for a little
What have
bit.
you
We'll
done?
just chat. Okay, I'll switch to the podcast.
Are you serious?
layout.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god! Why is it killing-
Wait, what happened?
5 seconds, don't worry.
It killed Right Toast.
No.
Kill Rightos, come to my stream. My stream's superior. My stream is superior.
Dude, why is your Nightbot not acting up?
Because I
Also,
dismantled
can't even,
it.
I can't even find.
I already turned it off.
Where
You
do I
better-
find banned users?
I don't know where you can do that.
All right, I killed Nightbot. He's dead.
Nightbot's dead.
Where do I find banned users? Where
I think you have to go
find- I have
to
Google this now.
like your settings and like timed out or like blocked users.
Yeah, it's super annoying. But it's only for like 5 seconds and they're fine. I think.
Oh, he'll be back?
Yeah, soon.
Also,
He
everyone,
always
is the
will come back.
audio good in
Yeah,
so chat
it's
is
pretty
audio good?
incredible that before the stream even started, we figured out who the one you should not have killed is. It's Rightoast.
Okay.
Ooh.
14 theory killed
Came back like he
Rightos.
always does. Because 14 Fury killed by Rightoast, okay?
Oh no.
Just
Okay. And then
shattered Nightbot.
get
Oh
rid of
god.
this.
No.
Rightoast.
Not shattered.
I have floor space in my room. Everyone give me a round of applause.
Yes.
Bravo.
Congratulations.
Oh, come on,
I
Mike.
did that off for a week and a half, and it literally took me 3 minutes.
Thank you, Digital.
That was embarrassing. Woo.
Then
Yeah,
add
there
a
weren't
window
even any
capture.
crashes and screams of despair. Good job.
Oh yeah, actually, I completely forgot. Happy birthday, Gibby.
Oh yeah, happy
Oh,
birthday.
yes,
Gibby.
happy
birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's your
Thank you,
birthday.
thank you.
Please no
Probably
one
the
sing the
oldest one
song.
here. Very, very cool. Love it.
Behold,
Please don't.
old Jackie's box.
Wish Gibby a happy birthday. All the Gen Alphas in the chat. Skibidi raise them a merry birthday.
Please don't.
All right, you're banned.
Even
You're
worse.
banned.
Yeah.
He's banned. Unwithered, you can take a spot now.
No, give me a spot.
Sweet.
I need it.
The way
All right,
Gen beta,
perfect.
beta,
We have re-optimized it. Beautiful.
This is peak.
All right, we're so back. All right, let me add Gibby.
We've got practically everyone who was watching before back. This is good. This is good.
This is good. This is good. Yeah.
I'm at
Let me add
47
Gibby to the
viewers. I'm
thing.
surprised.
Woo, we're
That's
famous.
good. Here, I'll play this in the background for your music.
Hey, guys.
Oh boy.
Hey guys, did y'all make a 2025
Dude,
bingo card?
I've heard this. I've heard this
No,
way
I
too many
have not.
times.
We were just talking about this yesterday. I haven't done it yet.
I made it.
Yeah.
Would you like me to read it aloud to the crowd?
Yes, please.
How many squares?
It-
Oh,
Okay,
we
it's
should, we're
literally-
gonna do the 2025 at the end. The bingo
Trigger
card,
warning,
sure,
it's
go for it.
heinous.
Oh, perfect.
Mine is so
All the
good.
better. All the better.
So my JoJo's bingo card. So my free space is a Tesla recall.
Yup.
We have
Yeah,
Trump
mhm.
assassination attempt number 4, a Luigi copycat. I'm gonna put money that the second FNaF movie
Oh my
is gonna
God.
flop.
This was very
Be
different than I
anything.
thought it was going to be.
This is
More-
great.
More voter regret.
I thought this was gonna be
More
FNaF.
voter regret. We're gonna get
We have made
another
political. We're officially political.
Oh my god, this
Oh
isn't
God.
even politics. This is just me guessing what's about to happen. Trump's gonna get impeached again. I'm also gonna put on there a Biden impeachment
This isn't
would be
political.
very silly.
Trump's gonna get.
Biden's gonna get
Downfall.
impeached again.
This is not
I
political.
thought this was a FNAF one. I thought this was
No.
purely FNAF.
This is not purely
No,
No,
FNaF.
this
There's
is
FNaF
us
on
seeing
here.
into the future.
Yes, the downfall of Boeing. I'm gonna say that for
Aw.
my new
Would be
series
epic.
blog.
Would be epic.
What would happen?
Worst gas prices.
Yup.
How could it get?
I
Any
think
worse?
we're gonna get. So you know how we had the Kamala SNL skit that was
Yeah.
really
I
funny.
don't know, Prince.
We need the Trump SNL. We need Trump to follow up. We need to
Hasn't
follow up.
happened yet.
Okay, this one's gonna be crazy. Did y'all see a Gypsy Rose Blanchard had her baby?
What?
Ever since you
Yeah,
mentioned
none of
Trump,
that-
my
none of
viewers went
that
down
was
to
English.
28.
Oh no.
Yeah, we should
Get
probably
robbed.
not talk about this.
Oop.
On a FNAF.
Every man for himself. Also, yeah, I've lost like 20 viewers too.
That's heinous. Gypsy Rose Blanchard
Sorry.
CPS case.
Okay, wait.
I'll put on action.
Post your bingo card. I want to see the rest of it.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's literally so heinous. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
It keeps
Maybe
going.
don't say it out loud because I don't think the
Put it
viewers
on
like it, but I
action.
want to see the rest of it. Someone died.
Who left?
I
Someone
think
died.
JoJo
My goodness.
vanished. Oh, there she is.
Oh, it's
Yep.
Sojo.
Jojo died.
No. I did die. We're gonna ignore it. Where
All
is
right, we are slightly. I think Unwithered Truth died.
No, I'm here.
Oh.
I'm here.
Nope, he's there. All right,
I'm just quiet. I'm just trying not to talk.
you're
'cause
welcome.
there's so many people.
We snuck you in.
I'm
Really?
okay with
Put
it.
us back in the chat.
we need at least 2 FNaF games to be released this year.
I think we're on track for that already, aren't we?
Chat, 3 minutes. We start.
Ooh, ooh.
I'm at 7 minutes. I can't count.
Yeah, we have. We have Flash
Hold on, 7.
and Secret of the Mimic coming out.
Wait, we have what in Secret
Alright.
Mimic?
Flash.
Observe
Flash-
the wheel of
Oh
doom.
yeah.
The wheel of doom.
Oh, I forgot about a flap.
I've been trying to.
I feel like everyone kind of just forgot about FNAF.
I wish I could.
I think it's funny.
I like it.
It is
I like-
certainly
I liked
something.
it after patches.
Like it's we got a version of it that's still a demo in betas. Like it's still a work in progress, so I don't begrudge it its glitchiness too much. It's a bit of a disaster
I
right
second
now,
that.
but like it's not even
Hopefully
a
it'll
fully
be better.
released
Like,
game.
yeah. Well,
I mean,
surely the full release is
even
better.
Even the small
We got a
patches
proof
they
of
did,
concept.
even the small changes they did, like were drastic improvements. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I have faith in it. I'm not that confident, but I think it's a good sign, at least there.
Yes, I agree.
Pretty much, yeah.
What did my little book of dollars say?
Also, yes, happy birthday, Gibby.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Gibby.
Happy birthday again.
Happy birthday.
Yay.
All right, chat. We're just waiting on Rye Toast, and then we shall begin.
Yeah, right, Toast. I know you're in chat. I know you're thinking about 14 Fury really hard right now. Join.
Did you guys see the song that Rytoast wrote about 14 Theory?
I did see that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I did.
In the DM group.
Yeah, it's...
Wait, I have
My
to
name
see
is
this.
14. Dad, I want some ice cream. 14, that is my name. 14, I want another.
14, I want another. 14.
Right Toast has made a song about my
It's
theory.
14.
I have wanted life.
Life is complete.
Right Toast, I love you, by the way.
I'm gonna use the bathroom before we get officially
Honestly,
started.
right?
I'll be right back.
That sounds like a great idea.
I'm currently reclining.
Rye
Right says
said-
to start without him.
Yeah.
Alright, so no pressure.
Start without him?
Whenever you can.
All right.
Also, Gibby,
Oh,
thank
we
you
still
for
got
5 videos.
having me on like your channel, like talking about it.
Yeah, of course. Like whenever I see any of these videos that I watch and they tickle my brain and I'm like, this changes how I see the series. I'm like, I gotta talk about this. And so the weekly show I have where I just go over like community stuff, I'm like, I gotta talk about this. I gotta talk about this in 14 Theory. And then your guys' Lefty Theory from the other week are just incredible.
What's 14 Theory? I think I
Thank you.
missed something. Wait, I thought
We
it was.
will
Wait,
talk
is it a
about
joke?
it soon. No, it is not a
Jojo,
joke.
fake friend.
How dare you?
I saw the Lefty
Fake
thing.
friend.
I love the Lefty thing. It's very fascinating. You Loki have me convinced. 14. I thought we were. I'm so confused.
I know someone
No,
who's
it's
subscribed to
real.
my
Joke.
channel.
It's not a phase, Mom. It's 14 theory.
How do I feel about current
My face,
FNaF?
Mom,
I
I'm
like it.
14.
Should we?
Dude,
should we just
low-key
explain
rated.
it? Because
I
there's-
can't believe. I mean, people. Should we explain? All right. Should we sacrifice
I think
his,
so,
his
yeah.
theory section?
I mean,
whatever.
it's
Well,
up to you.
no,
Should
you
we
can go
say
ahead.
it?
Because you
or-
can go into more detail. Just general.
I'm
I
just a
suppose.
That's true.
Goober.
Give
Okay,
it. I can't
friendly.
believe no one noticed in 7 years, though.
I know. No one
Like
noticed.
7
There's
years?
so much stuff that
It
just
took-
persists forever. I swear.
Was there just five? Took 5 idiots staring at lockers to notice.
That is how so much FNAF lore works.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Raven. You can blow ID's mind. Go for it.
Okay.
I'll pull it up on stream.
Okay, yeah.
Talk about it.
Hold on, let me know when you pull it up on stream, and I'll start explaining it.
I'm back. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Oh, we're already at 14 Fury explanations. Okay.
You know, I will give it whenever TDread has his end pulled up because he's pulling something up or something. You are about to find out what 14
Oh,
theory
really?
is, Doug.
Oh, are we changing the layout?
All right.
Bum, bum, bum.
All right. Go. Oh, I got it.
All right, you're good.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, so
No, I'm not good. What? This guy put a watermark on FNAF.
That is why I make
This
sure
intro
when
is
you roll
crazy.
out-
Go. Let's go. I think
Such a big watermark.
Ozone has a better one. Go check Ozone.
And there's the like free editing software watermark in the corner as well.
I think Hyperdroid has all these on his channel somewhere. He has a second channel with all these cutscenes.
I know Ozone
Ozone.
has them as well. Yeah.
I need to get all the Ultimate Custom Night stuff on my B-roll archive.
Oh, good.
Okay. It should be here somewhere.
It links right to Ozone's. Perfect.
Rise at
Oh,
start.
are we 14 Furying right now?
We might be starting without Rye, by the way.
Hello, Raven.
Yeah.
okay, we good to go.
Am I leaving? Am I like missing? By the way, am I good?
Missing where?
I think you're good.
Am I good to start explaining?
Okay, my fucking computer's
Yeah.
lagging. Okay, you should be
Oh.
good to start explaining.
Okay.
Go
So-
ahead. Yep, go ahead.
14 theory. Get ready for math. So, Unwithered, you're gonna have to help me with some of the math bits. So
Okay.
we'll start with the 7s. We'll make our way to the 14s.
Welcome
So
14.
with the intermissions, it's 700 for each intermission. There was another 7 that you noticed on Wither. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, so you get 700 points for each of the cutscenes in Ultimate Custom
Yep.
Night. There are 14 Custom Night cutscenes.
Yep.
7 Toy Chica ones, 6
Yeah,
Freddy,
7 Toy Chica ones.
the Pair of Vengeance ones.
Yeah, so
Yeah, and then the Golden Freddy one is the 14th.
yep. So when we were on stream,
It also
we were staring at the lockers for probably a solid 20 to 30 minutes, like the idiots that we are. And
It was like
as-
40.
yeah, probably 40. And as we were
It was-
staring at
it
these
was-
lockers, I decided to go, hey guys, look at the 14th locker. The 14 is slanted, and this did absolutely nothing for the longest time. So we got bored and looked at the offices. And TDread was like, hey guys, you want to get angry? And we were scared for a little bit. He showed us the FNAF 4 office, and there was one singular white star on there. Well, we decided, me and Crash decided, well,
Out
let's
of
count all
14.
the stars. And well, there's 14 stars, and there's one special one. And then as everyone's freaking out about it, I go dead silent, and I'm just like pulling up the UCN roster and counting 14 to the roster. And the 14th one is Golden Freddy. So I'm like, ooh, hey guys, look at this. TDread stream then cuts out. We come back.
Sick.
And then we come back and we kind of talk about for a little bit, and then I go completely silent again. I look at the roster again. I'm like, wait, look who's right next to Golden Freddy on the 15th slot. It's Springtrap, who is William Afton, and Toy Chica represents William Afton. So you have Golden Freddy at 14, and you have Toy Chica blocking the 15th locker because that's Springtrap, and you have all these other instances of like Golden Freddy's cutscene is the 14th cutscene. You like have all these other things, and then like the further lockers, and there's so much stuff that I haven't even done a video on yet. And yes,
I mean,
14
Golden
theories.
Freddy-
14 is slanted. Golden Freddy is slanted.
Yeah, so this is
Golden
something I was
Freddy's
gonna
head
talk about
slanted.
in my hypothetical 14 theory video. I was going to mention that if you
No way.
counted the Bear of Vengeance stuff,
No way.
Golden Freddy would be the 7th Bear of Vengeance cutscene, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, and
It's also the
one where-
14th overall.
Oh,
Yo, it's- yeah.
oh, yo, wait, that's
Yeah,
such a good
theoretically, it would be the 7th one, yes.
Yeah,
Which is
Yo, yeah,
very funny in its own
Interesting.
right.
that's cool.
7th Bear of Vengeance is Golden Freddy. Oh.
That's what
I don't know if it
thinking.
means anything like crazy or anything, but it's a neat idea to point out.
Yeah, it's funny that like they made the 14 deliberately slanted on this locker, and all the other ones are not. And you go to the
I've
roster,
noticed
and
it
Golden
really
Freddy's
sadly.
head is slanted,
There's
same
like other
direction
14s
toward
that
William
we've
Afton, who's
noticed
in the
throughout.
15th character.
The weird
there's
one to me
loads of
that you
different
guys
ones.
pointed out that was really interesting was that Golden Freddy wasn't in the 14th slot in the teasers of Ultimate
Yeah,
Custom Night, but
yep.
was
They
the
moved him.
build.
They
Yeah,
moved
I was
Golden
looking
Freddy
at
to the
that.
14th slot on purpose.
Yeah, I was looking at those teasers because I was like, oh, we
Yeah.
could probably learn more about the placement of them. And while they are divided into games, the placement of particular animatronics doesn't make sense in terms of like how other ones are ordered. So like they've got like Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy. That's the kind of regular order you expect. They follow the same pattern with the toys. They kind of go like most important to least important, and then you go like withered Chica, withered Bonnie, then the puppet, and then Golden Freddy. And it's like, wait, why do you have the puppet between Withered Golden Freddy and the other Withereds? And it would just make more logical sense to do them like group by group. And that's kind of how it was being done in development. And then at one point there was a switch intentionally to put the two Golden Freddy and Springtrap beside one another in the roster.
The one you shouldn't have killed is a 7-word phrase.
Yo.
That's not.
Someone said
that's
it's
not
like
true.
28 letters.
When he made this game, because
not
I want
have
what he's having.
You shouldn't have.
Yeah.
The one you should not have killed.
6. Yeah, but should
What you
not.
should not have
Should not is the unofficial name. I'm not
That's
gonna
true,
nerd
that's true.
emoji this. It's 7.
Debunked. Debunked.
Debunked.
All right, we're gonna spin. We're gonna
So,
spin. First spin. Here we go.
All right.
Wait,
Lock
T-Dread.
it in.
Wait
By
for
the way-
me, T-Dread. So I can...
Okay. All right. So this is how this is gonna work. Everyone in chat.
Okay.
Narrow Raven, who's one of the guys on my head, he's doing like a cool podcast layout kind of thing. So if you're just on your phone or you don't want to look at the wheel this close up, you can go there or whatever. Because he has a cool layout for it. joint effort between us. But for now, this is how the podcast is gonna work. I'm spinning this wheel that Chet helped me decide on with the topics. Then I'm gonna spin for a name. So we're gonna have a topic and a name, and that person is going to start us to avoid everything getting disorganized. And from there, we can chime in as we want, add onto their thoughts, contest them, any of that. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Why not?
All right, let's go for
Why
it.
is this wheel spinning for so long? It's making me upset.
Oh, it hasn't been clicked to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
To
I know.
even start.
I was letting everybody know.
The true spin has not begun yet.
Okay, I
It's
thought it
going
was just
now.
spinning forever.
We're not. We're gonna be behind in the chat, so you're
Oh,
making
no,
sense.
no.
Like, I can't wait
Yeah,
for
we're
it to
gonna
click.
be behind.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Thank
that
God.
was like a
Anything when it
7-second
pops
delay
up.
for us.
Yeah.
Okay, I can share it in Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, you should
Wait,
do
wait.
that.
Might be
Yeah,
good.
that might be
Also
good.
just-
No,
Yeah.
don't do that. It's
I'll
gonna
give it
kill
a
your
go now.
PC. Remember
Yeah,
what happened
yeah,
last
just
Oh
time?
yeah, it's gonna
announce it,
kill your
just
PC,
announce it.
and then I'm
God.
gonna steal your
Alright.
viewers again.
Okay, good idea. All right, we're
That's
doing the
cool.
death order. The first topic is the order of the deaths.
Oh,
And the
jeez.
person-
Oh boy.
Dude, I watched. It was almost Midnight Motorist.
It was almost Midnight Motorist.
The person starting us is. Wait a second. Do I have everyone on here? I think so.
Oh,
All right.
God, the movie's so
Oh, they said happy birthday, Gibby, and Gibby's starting us. Good. Hey, what? What's the deal?
Look at that.
Oh man, Thank you for the birthday wishes.
Sweet.
All right, Gibby, you're starting us on the death order.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with what at one point was not controversial, but I guess is kind of controversial now. I think that first actual death would have been Dave, the crying child, whatever we're gonna call him now. You know, clearly chomped in the head at Fredbear's. But if we're talking murder order, I think it's Charlie first. I know that there's a lot of counter evidence now, people talking about the Health Wanted 2 little puzzle stuff. But I think William goes and kills Charlie in revenge, the same kind of thing that happens in the Silver Eyes books. I think that that's really all the motivation he needs, is he wants to get some revenge on Henry, who he doesn't like, and then his son dies and he's all pissed off. And then I have my own little pet theory where I think that you can interpret the Toy Chica's high school years scenes as possibly being the death order. So if you watch those cutscenes in order, you see that she starts with Foxy's hook in her bag. I think Foxy's hook symbolizes Dave's death. And the first person she kills would symbolize Charlie, because she talks about oh, I love this person and I'm going to go to them, and when I'm there, I'm going to get them. Which is just vague enough to maybe be I'm going to drive by Freddy's, and once I see her there, I'm just going to get her. The second Toy Chica high school cutscene is the one where she's definitely luring Susie, and so I think that fits most people's idea that Susie was the first of the MCI kids. And if you kind of go down that list, you can toss all the boys in there or wherever you want, but the last one, the very violently oh, I'm going to hit him over the head and toss him in the trunk of the car, I think that one's probably Cassidy, who was probably spring locked and had a terrible, painful death. So yeah, I think that Dave, then Charlie, then the boys, and finally Cassidy. And I don't know where Elizabeth fits in there, probably after all them. That's all I got.
Okay.
Nice.
Ooh,
I
controversial.
did see.
Anybody
Was it?
want to jump in?
Yes.
I'll let someone else. go first.
So
I can go.
I-
ID, you
I'm
go
gonna
first.
start. Sorry. I relatively agree. But I generally put Charlie before Dave, because I think she's the one speaking when the text color of the Fredbear plush changes. Because a lot of that lines up with stuff that's said at the end of FNaF World. That I go into more detail about it in other theories, but this dialogue in FNaF World is all about helping the spirits rest, and I don't think William is helping the spirits rest, so I don't think that William's the final speaker in the FNaF 4 Fredbear dialogue. But Charlie has her whole thing of setting up Happiest Day to help the spirits rest, and she protects the kids and stuff like that. So that's why I lean to Charlie dying before Dave. And on top of that, the reason I don't go with the Help Wanted 2 gravestone order is partially because of Henry's speech in Pizzeria Simulator, because him saying that there's a wound first inflicted on him before spreading out to cause all of this, and then talking about he spent the entire speech talking about the murder victims and how he's going to set the spirits free. So I've heard people suggest that he was talking about like the mimic or something, but I don't think that's what's going on here. And then in Help Wanted 2, there's also the code that you have to punch in to get the puppet memory plush is the 1983, which could be because it's a sister location room, but also it could be like a way of saying, hey, we know we're setting up the order of the graves a bit weird, but she still died in 1983. Other than that, I put, I go Charlie, and then I put probably sometime at, like, shortly after that, Dave, with William starting up his nightmare experiments around then. And then I think sister location, not sister location, but like I think Elizabeth dies shortly after that, with Circus Baby and the fun times being William's first attempts at trying to get Remnant, because he's able to, because William's able to get permission to build the murder robots in the first place, and if he was already suspected potentially of being behind murders, I feel like there would have been more scrutiny, and he would be less involved with the company. And then I think after Elizabeth, we get the MCI, and so on.
Yeah. My only criticism with the Elizabeth before the MCI is that the designers who are listening at the start of sister location don't know what's going on with Elizabeth and Davey at all, really. They said, like, they're aware that there's weird features, but they don't understand what they are.
My thought process was more the fact that William is still making robots for Fazbear Entertainment at that point, when I feel like once the suspicion is on him, he wouldn't have been as involved as he seems to be then. He wouldn't have had as much trust, because he was clearly able to brush off their suspicions and stuff there of like, hey, what's this for? And no one suspected him of the child murder potentiality. Like, it was never proven, but we're pretty sure it's him, at least if the books are anything to go off of. It's like, we're pretty sure it's him, but we're gonna let him get by with his weird stuff in the thing anyway. So I feel like that's why I put Elizabeth before the MCI, but I don't care either way as to where she ends up.
Yeah, I think I agree with ID on the order.
Yay!
I think they be the catalyst, because I've been following Occam's razor with a lot of this, and I think it's helped a lot. I think it's got to be crying child Dave, whatever you want to call him first, because that's your catalyst, that's your freak accident that gives the bad rep, and then Charlie in cold blood afterwards. He notices the puppet's alive. That's why the fun times are early enough for Elizabeth to still die when Michael's a kid. And then after that doesn't work, when he realizes robots have failed and that he probably should get his hands, quote, dirty for his science, then he commits the MCI. And then that's where it kind of really sets the suspicion in, because otherwise, I feel like if the MCI had happened and then the fun times had been made with all those weird features, like, they would have gotten suspicious. They would have been like, this is some weird stuff. And didn't a murder just happen at our neighboring pizzeria like 3 blocks away? And he would have been like, I don't know what you're talking about. They'd be like, let me see where you're.
You're one of the suspects.
Yeah,
he was literally one of the suspects.
There he is.
Hey, there's Racos.
Hello.
Hey,
Rye.
What's going
What's
on?
up?
Right, wow.
Frank,
thanks for
Sammy
being here.
died first. If you think different, you're wrong.
Oh, Lord.
Sammy died at
Without
Going
swinging.
on?
We can
The
all
gang's
agree
all
Kelsey's
here.
the first victim. I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't even get me started on Rory, bro.
Oh, no. Rory was the first. He has seen everything. No, I was gonna say.
I don't think it matters.
I was gonna say today. I agree with Jojo on the death order. I think that's a very solid lineup. You've got first BV. This is like a minor piece of evidence, but I like throwing this out there as well. In FNaF World, the like little caption for Fredbear on his loading screen is where it all started, or like where it all began. And I like to think that back then Scott would already have that plans.
I had taken that as Fredbear's was the beginning of the franchise, not that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Not that Dave died first.
I feel like, regardless of whatever.
See, going either way,
I
though.
was just trying to say Fredbear was
Yeah,
first.
but now we've got Fall Fest, so you really don't know. But yeah,
We'll find out
Victim,
eventually,
then
maybe.
Charlie.
I mean, even if Fall Fest predates Fredbear's, it's still not the first location / pizzeria.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah, it's still called Fazbear Entertainment, so.
Yeah. Which, by the way,
think
is that
it's-
a
it's-
Mario thing that implies Fredbear is the last name of Fredbear? Is this a Mario situation?
Fredbear Fazbear?
that
That's
sounds
fire.
No, it's not.
Fredbear Fazbear.
Well, that's why
I
I
say
think
one more
Fredbear has the
person can
potential.
go, and then I'm gonna spin the wheel.
Well, real quick, on the order of the Death Note, do we think that Charlie died outside of Freddy's or outside of Fredbear's? Because if she
That's
died
an
that early in the timeline, then it feels like Fredbear's, but in FNAF 2, it's very clearly that she dies outside of Freddy's, because you see actual Freddy there.
Freddy's. I
I'd
think
say
it's.
Freddy's.
I would
I
say
think
Fredbear.
it was.
Freddy's, because we know Henry made the Freddy crew. That is something that is labeled his creations according to him in 6. He says the creatures, the machines of my creation, which would be when he's talking about Follow Me. So
Yeah.
we would connect the dots there.
I'm
Which
a
would-
big. Oh, sorry.
No, you can continue. So I was just going to say, the Freddy's gang is his creations first and foremost, from what we know. So killing his daughter outside of his creation's location would have extra meaning and weight if we were to do it that way. But whatever, whatever works.
I mean, I agree with it. I'm a big Midnight Motorist literal interpretation truther. So I've always liked the idea that if we suppose Junior's is a location that opened up in the closed Fredbear's, then the long drive to get there could be indicative of leaving from Freddy's for later that night. Which, again, is a very literal interpretation of this very silly minigame, but it's what I've been going off of.
I agree. I feel like we've gotten to the point with like Fazgoo and Sea Bonnies and stuff that we've forgotten about like Occam's razor. So I just look at this and I say we have a dude driving away really fast. That's weird. That's suspicious. We just murdered somebody. Who else would just simply drive that fast for no reason unless you're escaping a crime and have nothing to lose?
The novels also say that Freddy's is a drive away from Fredbear's. So
Yeah,
I don't like
Fredbear's
using
in the
the
middle of
novels
nowhere.
much, but it's
Yeah,
fair.
the novels are a bit
Just
weird.
bring
Oh,
it
I think
up,
we crossed
I was-
300 viewers, by the way, briefly.
Big.
We dropped again.
Ignore
I
that.
told 5 of them to leave.
You jinxed it.
Right,
Heck,
why would you
dude.
do that?
I thought it'd be funny.
William got to him.
Finally.
14
All
Fury
right.
got to your
I'm-
head, Toast.
I'm gonna spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel.
Spin the wheel.
All right.
We don't see it spinning, so sorry.
I like how
It's
this
okay,
is-
you guys don't.
That was-
Oh, our first
that was
wild
good.
card! Our first wild card!
Oh, first
Lord.
wild
Oh,
card.
no.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Wait,
God.
If it's a
That's
wheel,
bad.
isn't every category a wild card?
Oh yeah, wait,
He's
we
not
haven't
wrong.
explained what's happening
Double.
right yet, have we?
Yo.
Wild card squared. He doesn't get an explanation. Go! No.
Dun, dun,
If it's me, I'm gonna
dun.
be a bit.
Oh, wait. Oh, it's gonna be Squawks. Hey.
Oh,
Oh.
it's my wild card.
Okay.
All right, so Squawks, you have two options. You can tell us about a theory that's kind of crazy that you believe, or I'll pick one that I thought was really interesting from your channel, and we can talk about that.
Dealer's choice.
All right. I really liked the idea of Rockstar MCI.
Oh, you had to pick Rockstar.
You was the one I recommended. Let's go.
Okay,
This is an
So-
interesting one.
this is one of those. Especially now that we have security breach with hindsight, knowing that not all developers were completely keyed on the lore. This was entirely built on the unused statements from. I think
AR.
there's a little bit more, but yeah, it was AR mostly. Like, there's a few things like Henry, his monologue about those carried by your arms, and it shows only the 4 missing kids, and that made me think of like, oh, Lefty, and then the 4 other rock stars would be those kids, and that was like the connection. That's kind of where it ended. Like, there was a few other ideas.
I will
All
say,
the rest was the replacement.
Rockstar MCI was a theory that, while I don't agree with, I loved. I just love the way it fit together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
liked it on
the
paper.
fast fact was something about how the original animatronics were used for the Rockstars, right?
It was
Yeah,
specifically
Bonnie.
Rockstar Bonnie.
Yeah.
Bonnie was made from the remains of the
Yes.
original Bonnie. It was paraphrasing, but yeah. I think the theory I was going with, or the implication, was that Henry tried to preserve the kids to the best of his ability with the Rockstars, and get them all in one place. Where it kind of fell apart is you didn't need to get the Rockstars for the true ending. And yeah, he could have them in a back room or something, but the narrative dissonance there is huge. For you have to collect the four antagonists, but you don't have to do anything for the Rockstars. So it's like, what?
So what I think is interesting about that is even at the start of the game, there's artwork of the Rockstars in your office. Like even before you have the opportunity to get them. So I don't know if that's trying to hint that like that is the canon route, or maybe that for some reason the public would have been aware of those characters before the game starts. Like I don't know what Scott, like what order he would have put those in, but they are there.
I think they just wanted to design one office and didn't put much thought into what would be in there.
Well, there's evidence to say that the Rockstars could be way older than we think, because Carney is based on Rockstar Freddy in
that is
1
true.
and 2. And we
We
also
say the
know
same endoskeleton as well, like the exact same endoskeleton.
Barney weirds
Yeah,
me
so
out.
it's-
Like honestly, it just
Barney is
feels
weird.
like here's my thing. So we know with Security Breach that not all the devs knew the full story, but Help Wanted felt really consistent. So do we trust that they had Help Wanted? It did really good. But with Security Breach, COVID and poor communication was a developing flop, and then Help Wanted 2 is back to being 100% trustworthy.
I think so.
Like that's where it gets
I think
weird.
so.
I think
Yeah.
after the reception of Security Breach, I think they definitely locked in really hard. on
Yes,
that
Scott
canon.
Scott
absolutely.
outright said he implied he gave them the notes for moving forward, because he said he was trying to put them back on track with Ruin, and then Help Wanted 2's after Ruin. And I would find it really weird if after Security Breach and he gave them the notes for Ruin, he wasn't trusting them for the next game. That would be really bizarre.
Yeah, like he mentioned that the issue was that Steelwool tried to make their own story out of it, and then because they didn't know what the story was supposed to be. So I do think they know what the story is supposed to be now, or at least certain people in there do.
I think they know.
That doesn't necessarily mean they know everything about all the lore ever, but they at least would know what Scott's vision is for this stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Withered Circle, you're talking about Happiest Day.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
Oh, me? Well, this is very convenient because I'm writing a Happiest Day script, so I have thought.
Yippee!
Okay. Do I just go in general?
yeah, just go off.
Yeah, go
Tell
ahead.
us what you think.
Okay. Okay. So, Happiest Day are the minigames from FNaF 3, where you can get the good ending by getting all of them. Basically, you just play one each night. I think we all know that. And the main idea, sort of, for Happiest Day that a lot of people have is that you're gathering Crying Child's memories, and that Happiest Day is Crying Child's like birthday party from Fredbear's like put together. I disagree. I think that the receiver of like the Golden Freddy mask in Happiest Day is Cassidy.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain why. Just generally, who here thinks it's Bite Victim? Just out of curiosity.
I do.
I think it's Bite
I
Victim.
do.
I have an
I think
interesting
it's
take
him.
on it.
But I could also see it being both.
Me when FNaF World.
I could see it being Cassidy, but personally, I lean Bite Victim.
Okay.
I think it's Cassidy.
I can be convinced.
Look, my thoughts are fluid. I'm not gonna be stuck with this idea forever. It's very likely that next week I'll be Bite Victim again.
That's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, that is FNaF.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's good to stay flexible. Why do I believe Cassidy? Aside from the fact that FNaF 3 was before FNaF 4, and FNaF 4 was where we were introduced to the Crying Child, that's not really like evidence because Scott could have had it planned out. But
Yeah, I do think that, like, to start at least, it was probably just the fifth kid that William killed.
Yeah.
to start, it was the fifth
Yeah.
kid, and I still think that's the case. This also
Okay.
stems from a personal belief that Cassidy isn't the vengeful spirit. So Andrew being the vengeful spirit, in my kind of understanding of the lore, is why Cassidy passing on here makes sense.
Wouldn't be an issue.
Why?
that's fair.
It wouldn't really. See, here's the thing. Because if Cassidy's the vengeful spirit, she can't pass on in Happiest Day, or else that contradicts UCN. But if it's Andrew who's the vengeful spirit, Cassidy's free to pass on in Happiest Day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
there's no contradiction that would normally arise if Cassidy's the vengeful spirit.
I can see why this would lead to us having different stances on this matter.
For a different person.
My big question is...
Go ahead, Cryo.
what's it called? When it comes to that, what do you think Golden Freddy represents in UCN, if not Cassidy? Because Golden Freddy's very clearly like important there. So if Cassidy,
to be honest with you, I have no idea. I have no
valid. So valid.
I did have an idea.
That's also a lot of FNaF.
Yeah, I think that's a fair.
If Sire Squawks, you can go.
So in that Golden Freddy cutscene, if you turn up the audio, you can barely hear the fire crackle from FNAF 6. And obviously, it's not exactly a normal moving on scene if it's intended to be Cassidy moving on or whatever it's supposed to be there. And we have a Golden Freddy in Into the Pit for some reason, in the fetch minigame in Into the Pit's game. So I was almost wondering, in one of my latest Golden Freddy videos, I mentioned like, is the idea that Cassidy chose to stay behind to see what was going on with Andrew, or something like that, if that was the route we were going for the story. Because, I even said in the video, like, hey, if we're doing Vengeful Spirit Golden Freddy, back to plan A, but if we are doing Andrew, what would that imply?
I can see that, because one of my issues with that Fetch minigame was the fact that, like, Golden Freddy is possessed while Fetch is actively killing people, so it's like, well, Andrew probably can't be in both at the same time. I mean, there's precedent that he could, but...
How would he get to that Golden Freddy?
If he's in Fetch, then we're post William exploding in room 1280, so it'd be like, why is he still in there?
And why would they have a Fredbear in the center?
True.
I've been messing around with this idea in my head. It's only possible if Golden Freddy was somehow in the warehouse that William Afton exploded in, but that's such a ridiculous idea, and I don't know how Golden Freddy would get to that point, so I'm not like gambling on it.
Even that would require Cassidy still being around to get there. Or it's a new Golden Freddy. In that case,
I guess.
Why did they make another one?
Speaking of Happiest Day and Fazbear Frights connections, Return to the Pit has a Happiest Day adjacent thing in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I read the book.
Curly-haired girl.
I have
shakes me and horrifies me to my core.
I have such
It's like they're merging them. I hate it.
Sorry, I zoned out. What are we talking about now?
Return to the Pit.
I haven't been able to get my hands on it yet because I've been away from home for the past couple weeks.
No spoilers, but Happiest Day has something relative to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Kinda.
I have seen people exploding about it on Twitter, so I'm kind of fascinated as to whatever the book is.
It's an insane book, and I love it.
Amazing.
It's such a fun book. I read the whole thing. It's so much fun.
It's hilarious, dude. It's the funniest one.
I watched like a TLDR of the entire thing, and now I really want to get my hands on it because it's.
I will say, like,
really
it's
I saw someone say something about Oswald getting repeatedly run over with a car.
That is
The real
basically, anytime you try to run away, the Yellow Rabbit's driving Oswald's dad's car and locking in.
Yeah,
Wild.
It like happens like 3 or 4 times.
I only realized when watching Gibby your read through of it, because I read the book, but I read it real fast. But when I watched your read through, I was like, man, this is a lot of endings, because most of the time I go, oh, it's the same thing, and I'd skip back. But I didn't realize how many endings he gets hit with a car. I
will say one more thing. One more thing on the note of Happiest Day. If you do say that Bite Victim is the receiver, there's a lot of you get a lot of questions like, why isn't Cassidy there? Like, why wouldn't Cassidy also be in the line of kids? And I guess if they were the Vengeful Spirit, they just wouldn't be in Happiest Day because they don't want to move on.
Yeah, that's my thought process.
Yeah,
they're too angry at William to be willing to rest, so they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that if Happiest Day, I think, because originally I think it was just Scott had this idea to have the 5th kid be somehow important with his birthday, whatever, and then FNAF 4, he was like, oh, I'll make them this kid, and then, the 5 is actually the 4 and Charlie, or something like that. And then people sort of had a strange reaction to FNAF 4, so I think then he maybe combined the two, and it's Cassidy is receiving the cake, but it's guided by Bite Victim's memories. Because if we think about it, even if Bite Victim's the receiver, everyone gets Happiest Day. So they all have to in some way be granted it by Bite Victim's memories. So Cassidy could also be there and just be the final one because they have a more direct connection to Bite Victim.
And I do have a thought on that as well. That could be... Well, one thing I've noticed when looking at stuff is, like, in the survival logbook, there's that picture of the puppet giving a little girl with black hair cake. And then in Security Breach, there's a little girl with black hair in a hospital bed with the FNaF 4 patterned bread spread. And the way I interpret that is sort of because Cassidy and the crying child are sort of sharing the same body, there's a lot of overlap between them, like spiritually. So I think it could be a case where, like, yes, we see only one Golden Freddy kid there, but that Golden Freddy kid could represent both of them.
Technically, yeah.
I could
One
see
version
that.
I thought of
well,
was Cassidy is the only one who can fix the bite victim, so they need to be fixed. So the bite victim needs to help them fix themselves, so they can fix them. That would be like the weird daisy chain way to do it.
So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's just save them Inception.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
This
everything's
series,
just-
you know
that's,
what? This is,
Happiest
you
Day
know
and
what?
Happiest
This
Day
moment
now.
discussing this has made me realize how badly this series has jumped the shark.
Hey, I like
bad
it.
now.
It has
I
not.
love it.
I will
Like,
have you
hold
know,
on.
it has not jumped the shark. It's been this weirdly written since the beginning. Thank you very much.
It's
Speaking
never
of
been on the
bad,
shark.
That
You know
is
what?
true.
I was going to say, it's
Cryo.
been the shark.
I
It
saw.
hasn't jumped the shark. It is the
Yeah.
shark.
Exactly. It's Felix
We are
the
in the
shark.
belly of
Thank
the
you
beast.
very much.
What you were just
It's
describing
all
with like
uncanon.
the multiple people in one body, that's basically like how Kingdom Hearts lore works. And so saying that to the shark, I'm like, oh my god, it's the same
Cassidy is the
story.
bite
I hope-
victim's heartless. Got it.
Exactly.
Scott better not be taking inspiration from there.
Yeah, I feel like
Like
I
Cryo
also, I also
much
don't
like-
think.
Yeah.
I also don't necessarily think that like Happiest Day necessarily happens in FNAF 3. Like I think there's a chance that Molten Freddy is the result of a failed Happiest Day, because Molten Freddy has the same eye lit up in his mask as the FNAF 3 heads do at the end of the minigame. And it's like,
Oh, that's cool.
if the spirits are continuing through, it's kind of this idea that Happiest Day is the bad ending of FNAF, or sorry, Happiest Day is the good ending, and Molten Freddy is the bad ending, and that's the one that actually happens. If the
Like, I
story
see
ends
that.
at 3, if the story ends at 3, yeah. So like, if it didn't happen, or maybe Bite Victim was just released or something, or the logbook seems to be like a rejigging of Happiest Day as guided by Cassidy rather than the puppet. So you could maybe say that like in the version of events that Molten Freddy has created, Cassidy does Happiest Day for the Bite Victim, but the others are still kept in Molten Freddy.
Well, actually, I want you to think about one more thing from FFPS, because I always love hearing that Molten Freddy line about how the mask has the one eye lit and it matches the FNAF 3 bed ending heads. I want you to think about, if you add Molten Freddy to Lefty, they both have one eye. They both have the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
You combine those two,
Lefty,
you get the
lefty.
complete Happiest Day. You add the puppet, the 5 and Molten Freddy, you get the complete Happiest Day.
I could
That's
say,
cool.
I've
Yeah.
been working off the assumption that Happiest Day kind of happens at the culmination of FNAF World during the FNAF 6 fire, which is why Cassidy isn't there, because
Yeah, that's-
they're busy
that's how I
doing
viewed it, too.
UCN.
Yeah.
That actually, that could be a good reason for Scott to think about the one you should not have killed, and that, like, if Golden Freddy is the one you should not have killed, that's like the germ of the idea. Is Scott goes, okay, now I've got 2 Golden Freddy kids. One of them was let go. What do I do with the other one? Oh, I'll make them like vengeful, so they hang on. Like it could work from the writing point of view as well. That's where the idea comes from. Is I've got a kid left over. What do I do with them?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Honestly,
That sounds
at what
uncannily realistic.
we should. I vote we, for legal reasons, this is a joke. I vote we just waterboard the information out of Scott and be like, just give us the information through FNAF 6 and UCN of what you were trying to do here, and nobody gets hurt.
Why do you
Like,
think
is
I was
it-
late today? I had to book a ticket to Scott's house. I'm going to
Scott's house.
Who lives closest to
All right,
Texas?
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to
Solved
change the
FNAF, and all we had
topic
to
now.
do
I
was-
think.
Yeah, we've been off Happiest Day for a
Change
while.
everyone.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna have Cryonide start us with the Shadow
Oh lord.
Oh, here we go.
an easy,
Enjoy.
This one's gonna be good.
uncontroversial topic for you.
So
Oh,
here's
yes.
the thing. I think if I could ask Scott one question, I would definitely ask him about the shadow animatronics, because this is the least sensical thing in this entire franchise to me. This is the one thing I can't even start to wrap my head around. Because on
I
one
gave
hand,
up on
they
wrapping
have,
my head around it.
because on one hand they have this like Shadow Bonnie or whatever it's officially called is like connected to
RWQ
dark,
FSFA60.
yeah, it's
Rick
connected to like
Reflex.
Dark Remnant and AR when that was still a thing, but we don't know how real that is because I don't know how hands-on Scott was with that game. And then you have
Probably
Shadow
not.
Freddy like seemingly working for William in Follow Me. Like
They
it's
seem
seemingly
connected.
luring the animatronics to it. So it's like they're doing two separate things in what we've seen.
I am your wickedness.
And
So
in
I-
the very limited amount of time that we've seen these shadow animatronics, it feels like they do very different things from each other. Because I also don't think Shadow Freddy does anything in FNAF 2. Am I wrong about that?
No, he
I
just
think
sits there.
Shadow Bonnie crashes the game, but Shadow
Bonnie
Freddy kind of
crashes.
chilling there.
Yeah.
I sat for 30 seconds staring at Shadow Freddy, so I can confirm that
I think
the
doesn't do
puppet
anything.
and Fox are much more dangerous.
someone did find in the code that he's supposed to blink away after you look at him, but it's a broken line of code, so it's
Oh,
supposed to be that you look at him and then. But
Sort of like Golden
with
Freddy's
the-
fade in the
Yeah, I was
office.
gonna say blinking
I think so.
away
Yeah.
ties them more to
He's-
Golden Freddy, which is
Because he is the same
But-
model anyways.
yeah, he is the same.
Yeah.
model.
Which I think
But
is
I
intentional.
have-
Yes.
Same.
I have thoughts on the fact that the shadows, as we call them as a community, we call them the shadow animatronics. But first of all, Shadow Bonnie has never actually been given that name officially by anyone but the community. And also, they are very visually distinct from one another. Shadow Freddy is purple and appears as like a whole animatronic. And then you have RF blah, 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 blah,
RWQ
is
FSFA
a-
SXC.
Thank you.
Why do you
Is
have
a
that?
phantom-
I'm not
I
the
did a
only
video on the
one.
Shadow animatronics a couple months
Because
ago,
she's
so
the
I
only
have
one taking
an
this
explanation that
seriously.
I'm sitting on, and I
You
had
do
to
not-
say it so
you do
many
not
times.
realize
Because she's the
Um,
best of us.
Yeah, exactly.
The rest of you are
I've heard it
posers.
for months.
Yep.
knowing it by heart. You guys keep making
It's
fun of me
always-
for saying it by heart every single time.
it's always a Vanta black, like kind of looks like Toy Bonnie, but has different effects, like on its like its teeth are different and stuff. And I think the fact that they act completely differently, and we have like differences in naming and visuals, I think that Shadow Freddy is a different kind of entity to ID. Could you?
RWQ.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
I would agree.
I've had different
Um,
thoughts on this in the past, and the more I think about it, the more I'm wondering if RWQ is kind of what the Yellow Rabbit, like that idea was refined in the Yellow Rabbit for Into the Pit. And
Mhm.
not saying they're the same character, but that same idea of just like in FNAF 2, he was like, oh, what if just like the bad feelings manifested? And then like 3 years later, he was like, wait, what if we doubled down on that?
Yeah, that could definitely work, because I think
Yeah, I do
whether it's
think
from
that-
the MCI or the DCI, it could work.
Do we,
My general.
How about you? What do you think?
Okay.
do we think his model being Toy Bonnie matters, or is that just a thing that Scott did
It
because
might.
it was readily
I don't
available?
I think
matters.
it's a matter of opinion.
Tricky.
If I had to apply a meaning to it, I would say that it's because whatever made it manifest happened at the FNAF 2 location.
Yeah.
I have thoughts on
I don't
this.
think it's specifically tied to Toy Bonnie himself. I just think that would tell you the time period that the thing that manifested it happened.
Maybe
Would
makes
you
sense.
say that Shadow Freddy manifested somewhere else then?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's
I think
directly
so.
related to Golden Freddy.
Yes.
I have
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
feel
so
like
that's where Shadow
Shadows-
Freddy comes from.
in some way, shape, or form are somehow like connected to like Scott. I feel like Scott had some vague, because we know he likes sci-fi, so I feel like he would have had some weird explanation for that back even in FNAF 2 of it being almost like like it could have been like an early version of Agony that we're seeing, and then
Yeah.
now in hindsight it's like a
Mhm.
manifest of it, but it could have just that they could have just been Scott's like early kind of, because when you look at this stuff, I feel like you really just have to take it with so many grains of salt. Like, they were created during FNAF 2, so right after FNAF 1 blew up. So you have to, I just
Well, I don't think
about it
that
from
makes anything in
perspective.
FNAF 2 less valuable information-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about it
Because it's
from
part of like the
perspective-
foundation of the series.
Yes. So it's figuring out why was this made, when it was made, and what did it add to this part of the series to figure
And
out
how
when
might it have
was made.
developed?
Yes,
So-
because I'm a firm believer in like making sure that I like look at when these games came
Yeah,
out,
which
because
ones
if we were to do it now,
Mhm.
I would immediately say that's an Agony creature, but Agony didn't exist until like what, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Well, we didn't know what it was called, but that doesn't necessarily mean it didn't
Could be
exist,
a
kind of
concept.
thing.
That is
Like,
true.
we didn't know exactly what Remnant was called, but technically speaking, even if it didn't have a name or it wasn't fully conceptualized, that doesn't mean that Remnant wasn't involved in the early games, you know?
Or
Kind of
as
have to.
Rye suggested that the kind of the chicken came before the egg, in the sense that like the agony creature that was Shadow Bonnie became the inspiration for the idea of agony, as we call it now.
Yeah.
Like
that's
one
what
came before the other.
It's very much so. It feels like the egg came before the chicken, or vice versa, whatever it is.
Underscore.
Something that I think is really interesting with the Shadow animatronics is how involved they are with Happiest Day.
Mm-hmm.
So many of the Happiest Day minigames have
That's true,
Shadow animatronics. There's the Shadow Puppet, the Shadow Cupcakes, Shadow something or other. I don't know. There's other stuff in there. And
RWQ.
like and the thing is like RWQ is in there too, and even if he's not a Shadow animatronic in the sense of like being named a Shadow animatronic, he is helping out there, so I mentally classify him as like similar, even if not identical.
I think that might even
And
be
I think that's something really interesting to note, and that I feel has been ignored a lot, is how the Shadow animatronics are connected to the Happiest Day stuff. Because one thing in the video I did a few months ago was I suggested that the Shadow animatronics being born from the agony of... I put the DCI as being their source for most of them. Not RWQ or Shadow Freddy. I suggested that okay, maybe this gives more relevance to the FNAF 2 victims who don't really do anything, they're just kind of there. Their agony potentially made the efforts to help the MCI victims move on in Happiest Day, but then stuff didn't work out due to I don't know, Shatter Victim or something.
You know, you making that connection has me thinking that is Into the Pit as a story not just the FNAF 3 minigames? The idea of going into an agony-induced area, if we were to make Into the Pit in FNAF 3, would it not be Oswald going into a ball pit and then we play this minigame where there's this Shadow Freddy and we have to go find a child hidden somewhere? Repeat.
Hear me out. Into the Pit is Happiest Day.
In my latest video, Tulpa Theory, I mentioned the idea that RWQ always appears on the side of the missing kids. In FNAF 2, he's attacking you when everyone else does. In FNAF AR, he's protecting Remnant, which is people's souls infused with stuff. And then he's helping out at Happiest Day. And the minigame in FNAF 2 that we were shown that doesn't pay off into anything other than showing that kids died in the second location is called Save Them. And I wondered if Shadow Bonnie, RWQ, was the manifestation of that desire to save them. So he's just that idea given form.
To back you up on that, I was just gonna say, to back you up on that, the version of RWQ in FNAF World only has 3 moves, and they're all support moves. It's gift boxes, haunting, and minute ball.
Yeah, and Shadow Freddy's reverse. He has only insta-kill moves.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to say, because let me go real quick. I underscore sounded pretty enthusiastic when I mentioned Golden Freddy looking like Shadow Freddy. What was that about?
Huh? Oh, I mean, they are the same model ultimately.
You just agreed. I thought there was something.
I have something to say.
Same here. I got something to say.
All right, every man for himself. Go.
For that.
One at a time. Unwithered.
Everyone shout at the same time. 3, 2, 1, go!
Shadow Freddy is the happiest.
You guys are saying,
Ask who's the best story.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay. I'll lead off.
Right.
On the topic of Shadow Freddy and RWQ taking opposite sides, and just the Shadow animatronics in general. To my knowledge, Shadow Freddy is the only animatronic that doesn't of the shadows that isn't in any of the Happiest Day minigames. Because you see all the rest of them, but Shadow Freddy is the only one that never pops up. Which
technically, there's also XOR and Shadow Mangle in Help Wanted.
Yeah, which makes me wonder something. Do we think that Nightmare being referred to as Shadow Freddy in the files means anything?
Yes.
The whole thing here. The whole thing. Yeah,
I think it's the same thing.
Because Nightmare does have this line about "I am your wickedness made of flesh." So maybe that literally is what Shadow Freddy is. Then.
Well, he definitely does have connections to William. It's just figuring out where those come from, because he's purple. He's wicked. He's evil, like we've been describing. But where does that connection to him come from?
I have an idea as to where it might come from.
Thank you, Treasurous.
I think basically because I was thinking about the nightmare experiments recently, and we were talking about it, and how necessarily what was that accomplishing? What was the idea? Why was it included in the story at all? Like, why not just keep it be dreams? You know, all this kind of stuff. And I think part of the idea is that because Nightmare or Shadow Freddy shows up on the final night, if you think about the game from like a story night by night, minus all the mini games, we're seeing like a fear intensify until the point where it manifests like this evil creature, which is like the worst of all of the other creatures. And what if the Shadow Freddy, and the reason he's different than all the rest of them, is he's created from the fear, like the genuine torment that either it's the bite victim or Michael, whoever went through the experiments, that's the result to a Shadow Freddy. And so when he says, "I am your wickedness made of flesh," it's because he's literally manifested from William's wicked actions in torturing these children into the experiments.
That was
important question. I do have a question about Shadow Freddy real fast.
Yeah.
Does Nightmare in Ultimate Custom Night, does he ever say, I don't remember all the lines right now, does Nightmare specifically ever talk about "I'm not an illusion anymore"?
No.
I think so.
That's specifically Nightmare Fredbear.
That's Fredbear.
Yeah, it's Fredbear.
Nightmare Fredbear says...
Too many bears. There's too many bears.
Interesting.
I'll post a screenshot.
Interesting.
Also,
thanks for gifting the membership.
If I'm not mistaken, says this time there is more than just an illusion to fear.
That is Nightmare Fredbear.
Nightmare Fredbear. No, that's Fredbear.
I just
because my question is,
lines in chat.
What if in FNAF 4, Nightmare is not gas or an illusion disc? Nightmare is
that's
actually...
what I'm thinking. He's manifested by the fear.
But he's what
think about
Shadow Freddy looks like with the illusion.
But think about this.
Could be
Michael is the dreamer in FNAF 4. If we play as Michael in FNAF 2, in FNAF 1, and in FNAF 3, Shadow Freddy shows up in each of those locations. He's in the FNAF 3 office. He's in FNAF 1 and Follow Me, which is the most tenuous of the connections. And then he's in...
Well, Michael
FNAF
wouldn't have seen
office.
him, but yeah.
If he was... Yeah, he wouldn't have seen him in Follow Me. But if we have this idea that he is somehow attached... Yeah, if he's created by Michael, you could even then have a Shadow Freddy Midnight Motorist Michael Runaway thing.
It's very much a case of what have you brought home?
You know who else shows up in all those places? William Afton.
Oh,
yeah, that's very true.
William, and for a lot of
guy.
I'm personally of the mindset that even if Mike is the dreamer in FNAF 4, it's not his experiences that we're experiencing.
Yes.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be hearing FNAF 1 phone guy.
Yes.
I think it's probably him being haunted by his brother, and his brother's memories manifesting like that, because that's a thing that spirits can do.
Yeah.
But I do think it's possible that Shadow Freddy Nightmare is the actual Shadow Freddy Nightmare appearing in Mike's dreams.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that.
So in that case, then, I think could we not say if the nightmares are dreams, that it could be Michael post FNAF 1, so him having heard the call, dreaming about the nightmare experience. Like he could have been in chambers and had dreams about it, like later, so that he can still have them when he's a kid, and then have dreams about them later.
My only criticism of the bite victim having the dreams is the code is 1983. Why would you make a code of something? Oh, what is he making the code about if the bite victim was having the dreams? Yeah,
so
like
my thought is that I think that I think the 1983 code is just like to some degree it's a nod to the fans of like, hey, this is connected to those events. But also I do think that the nightmare experiments were, I think in the lead up to the crying child's death, part of the reason he was so scared of the animatronics was because William involved him in the fear experiments.
I agree.
And I think that combined with the bite led to Shadow Freddy. And I think that the general order of events in my brain is like that spawned Shadow Freddy. Later down the line, Mike's in FNaF 1. Golden Freddy is there, which means Dave is there. And Dave is angry at his brother and starts haunting him and puts him through that.
I actually agree with that because you could argue that Crying Child could be somewhat vengeful, but vengeful towards Michael. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter if Michael feels bad. Michael still was the reason that Crying Child died. So I don't think
and it seems in the week before that if that is the Crying
he's an
Child,
idiot,
it, like in the week before, like if you listen to the one recording call thing of the Bite of 83, and then Phone Guy gets bit at the end of that. If that was the Crying Child, that could definitely imply that he's not happy about the situation still, even if Mike apologized.
Yeah. I think as well, it depends on if you want to do like nightmare experiments before CC dies. It's kind of the same thing about like if Charlie dies before David, then you have this whole thing of what's William's motivation. If we just go, he's just
to
always
kill
been
Charlie?
like that. There is to kill Charlie or to set up fear experiments. You know, because if we
So
go
my interpretation is William didn't need any more motive to kill Charlie than his jealousy of Henry. I don't think it was a revenge kill. I think like it's like in the Silver Eyes books, maybe Dave was a character and we never see him or Mike. But the only indication we get towards William's motives to take Charlie is that he was jealous of Henry. Even before any of the stuff, I think he was jealous of Henry, and as he was driving by Freddy's, it was a heat of the moment, he was having one of his jealousy fits, he kills Charlie. The tear streaks appear on the puppet, and that gets him interested in researching Remnant and Agony and stuff, and then he does the nightmare experiments as a way to try and figure that out. Then the Crying Child dies, and then he moves on to the fun times as a method to try and figure things out further once his nightmare experiments fall through.
We have been going off topic for a bit, so I'm going to segue. Ivy, it's still you on the wheel, so you're going to start us on Princess Quest.
Okay.
What is going on?
That's a real.
So
what's going on there?
I think we play as in Security Breach. I think we're playing as Cassidy. The Caught in a Loop title to me indicates like a previous character coming back and being stuck in a cycle. And then even if Scott told them to remove the name Cassidy from the files, I think that's more Scott not wanting to confirm the name Cassidy at that point because there was still debate over who the Vengeful Spirit was. Because even without the name,
the kazoo.
Cassidy Kazoo.
Yeah, and the Cassidy Kazoo. It seems like he just didn't want the name Cassidy confirmed like that. So I think it's Cassidy. And I think what it is I am personally of the belief that Glitch Trap is a combination of William Afton's Agony encoding mixed with the Mimic program. Due to some stuff in Help Wanted 2 and the manifesting as a rabbit. And I think that Cassidy is in Princess Quest trying to help get rid of what's left of William in her revenge quest. And she's been following him from place to place, and that's why, you get... Like, in the second Princess Quest game, there's Old Man Consequences, and he's like, oh yeah, you should rest, but then she doesn't. And then you go into Help Wanted, the Help Wanted themed Princess Quest 3. And I think that's supposed to be symbolic of... And then there's just the It's Me sign in Help Wanted. It could be someone else, but I think it could also be an indication of William's remnants are here, or part of him is. Or maybe she's just trying to, if you don't believe that William is at all involved with Glitch Trap, she's trying to get rid of his legacy. Or maybe she thinks it's William. But I think from there, tries to purge Glitch Trap. And I think what happened is, in order... This is once again connected to the William idea. I think in order to escape Ultimate Custom Night, he sort of shunted Cassidy into the Princess Quest arcades. And that's how we get him able to function as Burn Trap instead of being trapped in the nightmare coma.
And we would agree that the Princess Quest ending is canon, all of us? Or...
Yeah.
I think it's canon, but I don't think Gregory was the one who got it. I think Gregory got the Burn Trap ending, and I think Cassie's dad got the Princess Quest 3 ending, because he's able to play Princess Quest 4, and you have to play them sequentially.
Do you think he'd also be like the insane guy in the notes about Security Breach?
I do not, but I don't begrudge people who do.
One minor comment is we did know the name Cassidy confirmed from Scott himself prior to
in the Cassidy
release.
Yeah,
so they'd
in the
already
Cassidy
been name
script, yeah, but not necessarily as the vengeful spirit. And I think that's what he was trying to avoid having confirmed.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
I mean, depends on who, or maybe the Steel Wool employees thought that it was Cassidy, but it was actually Andrew. Take your interpretations as you will. This is mine.
Or I just wanted to make sure, because you mentioned something about not wanting to confirm the name Cassidy itself. Which
I meant as the character that was being depicted.
But yeah, the vengeful spirit thing, I do agree with. If that was the case.
Yeah, because we also have Old Man Consequences, named Old Man Consequences in the files.
Yeah,
talking to a yellow girl.
At this point.
That's true. Yeah,
that is OMC in the files.
I know this is not really necessarily the fun answer, but is this potentially part of the Scott miscommunicating thing? Because could it be that Scott intended it to be Cassidy, or Security Breach got his notes and interpreted it as Cassidy? And because we have the kind of he said one thing, they interpreted it as another. There's a possibility that the Cassidy thing is a result of that.
I think it's also possible that he told them it was Cassidy, and that's why the name was in the files. And then he was like, "Wait, no, you weren't supposed to tell them that."
Yeah,
or
right. Just because I told you doesn't mean you put it out. Yeah.
Yeah, or it could be the thing is, even if Scott didn't give a ton of direction, he still told them to put certain things in certain places. And I feel like the Princess Quest machines are such a vital part that he would have at least given some indication as to, because the fact that they randomly put Chica in the background of that one level and included Old Man Consequences in that way, it could be them coming up with stuff, but I feel like it's just as likely that Scott is the one who told them to do that, and also that's what we have now. Whether or not it was the original plan, this is the game that we got, and I don't think, even if Scott's trying to move things onto a track that's more similar to what he originally envisioned, I don't think that negates any of Security Breach. If that makes sense.
I almost trust Security Breach 0%, because to have a miscommunication as large as, hey, this character isn't supposed to move, to it's the final boss of the game is quite large.
That's fair. I just think that even if that was not the original intention, that's still the final product we got, and unless Scott says to completely ignore it, he just said it was getting it back on track, not that everything was retconned, Yeah, so I feel like it still matters, and it's still important. But the implications of some things and where this, what the story may have been implied to be in Security Breach may not be what the direction it's going now.
Yeah, in the same way that Follow Me wasn't anything to do with anything at the time, but it might have connections now to Molten MCI. These things might start as one thing, but they become something else. So I think the later the evidence is with Princess Quest, the more reliably we can point at it and say, well, that's still
and that's another thing too. They continue Princess Quest stuff in Help Wanted too, so I'm inclined to believe that Scott had a hand in the original Princess Quest stuff, especially since it made an appearance in Help Wanted itself in the mobile version.
And Old Man Consequences is at the end and provides the Bonnie mask and Glitch Trap as well. So we've got this idea that Old Man Consequences.
Unwithered quick segue.
Oh, okay. So what I'm about to be talking about next is, what am I talking about?
The Mimic.
The Mimic. I'm so out of my depth. I'm so out of my depth.
Did they make a song about that guy?
Oh, jeez.
No, shush, Shizu.
I just play that instead of talking about the Mimic. Oh god, I'm so out of my depth with this thing. Okay, so the Mimic being
is he Burn Trap?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what the hell Burn Trap is. I think it's part of that whole menagerie of things that were supposed to be one thing and became another thing. But I think that with the Gregory drawing showing the burn trap ending as one of the like many different potential endings, I think that was part of the way they were trying to clean things up and say Gregory probably saw the mimic and then had this idea about burn trap, and I think it might be more representative of what the mimic is. So if that's glitch trap or an aspect of glitch trap is the mimic, I think that would be a way of kind of saying, oh, burn trap might not be a literal thing anymore in game. Like you can't, like, you know, Cassie couldn't walk over and find it, but it's showing the connection of what the mimic is now, because Gregory's obviously aware of it, and how it relates to Glitch Trap and Afton and the whole story that we had kind of going on in Security Breach.
I understand that perspective, and I disagree with it for a couple reasons. I respect it, though. The thing is, even if Gregory... The thing is, Gregory drew the blob in that image as well, and we know that the blob exists.
That's fair.
So I think that it's possible and especially since he was GGY, I feel like it's completely possible that he was aware of Burn Trap as Burn Trap.
By the way.
So, and the thing is, like, I feel like, personally, if the Mimic was meant to be Burn Trap, even if Burn Trap is, like, just Gregory's perception of it in that moment, I feel like there would be more to connect the two in terms of design than both of them having a hand that was sourced from a Nightmare animatronic model. I feel like the Mimic's design would have incorporated more Burn Trap elements if it was meant to be the case where Burn Trap was a way that we're supposed to see the Mimic.
That's fair. I feel like it's partially like the hand up against the chest, and also the glitch trap coming out of the charging pod, like Burn Trap.
Well, yeah, that's one thing where I was saying I think that glitch trap is a combination of William and the Mimic, and I think that as glitch trap, that's when William is in control. Because he has the rabbit form. But the end of the Help Wanted 2 ending where, like, Glitch Trap gets squished is the destruction of William's code. Because in the files for Help Wanted 2, there's this dialogue from a voice that talks about how it refers to Glitch Trap as an it, but then it says something about how a small piece of his code remains. And that you have to find the memories in order to get rid of that code or whatever. And so I took that as a small piece of William's code, the he, is involved with Glitch Trap, and in order to destroy that code, you have to get William's involvement out of it. And the reason, and I think Glitch Trap coming out of the charging pod is meant to link Glitch Trap to Burn Trap, but I do think that Glitch Trap is also linked to the Mimic in, like, a different way. As for the arm curled up in the charging pod, I don't like. I think I think the angle is confusing, and to me, it looks. If you don't look at just the still image, it looks more like he's just pulling his arm back and he's not used to moving, so it's all rickety. Because the door has to open somehow. I think he pushed it open and then was drawing his arm back, and then he's, like, moving really jerkily, but I don't think it's the plushie, especially with how his hand is angled. I understand other perspectives on the matter.
I'm gonna be so honest. I think I'm the Mimic, guys, because that's how I carry my plushies and my cups and my cups.
Real quick.
The thing is, like, the arm doesn't look like to me that it's against the chest. It looks like it's held out in front of him, and he would be basically balancing the plushie in, like, the crook of his arm, and not even up against his body from that angle.
I would agree, but I remember when the Mimic started showing up in the books and they described that whole arm thing, it was like a big point where people were like, that's what Burn Trap does, is he's got his arm like that.
But the thing
was,
is,
like, a connection.
That's a connection that way when made, but I don't think it was a real. I personally don't think it was an actual connection. I think it was people seeing something and jumping to conclusions about it, and it's understandable. But I don't think that's what they were trying to get across there. I think it was, like, in the book, it's just a thing where it's like, oh, the Mimic's still copying David, and that's part of what throws. That's what gets Edwin to lose it a bit, is the continued copying of David. I don't think it was meant to be it's a Burn Trap, you know. Like, but I understand why, but because of the design differences and everything, I don't think that's what the intended interpretation was.
It reminds me of when FNAF 4 came out in the 87 versus 83 debates, people pointed to the Mangle toy being, it's proof it's in 1987. Only see Mangle, the white and pink Foxy in 1987. It's like, that's not what the point of that Mangle toy is there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
Fire
people saw
Squawks.
that and made that connection.
Talk about the DCI, and then Crying I'd interrupt him 1.5 minutes through. Go.
Why is that part of it?
I think we all know why.
Who?
He's not going.
Cyrus Bucks.
I'm
DCI.
talking?
Yeah.
Oh, I
DCI.
thought Squawks died for a second
Hey,
here.
hey, Hyperdroid. Hyperdroid's in the chat. What's up, man?
Hi, Epper.
I agree, Hyperdroid.
I feel like, in my opinion, in my view of the timeline right now, the DCI is meant to show William's repetition and sort of increased understanding of everything, because he's done the MCI at this point, and that's almost like, no matter what death order you have, that's the confirmation that possession it's possible, and now he has to just figure out how to repeat it consistently. And the DCI is like, in my opinion, it's his effort to keep trying to do that. And I almost wonder if Mangle walking around before everyone else does was a way of showing, because there's a line in the second ever teaser of FNAF 2 that mentioned how something borrowed something. The phone guy mentions that they used parts from the old animatronics. So those two things combined make me think, and the fact that they're called the Fun Times with Mangle being Funtime Foxy, almost is why I put the Fun Times a little later, is if you think about what the Fun Times are, they are the application of the DCI in full. Learning that possession was possible by repeating it and proving it was consistent, and then showing that old parts could transfer to new things and transfer over their properties and possession. And that's what the Fun Times
I like
whole
that take.
deal
That's
are.
interesting.
But
But what about Lefty, though?
DCI.
Lefty
I'm just
DCI
saying,
time.
like, from William's point of view, that's how things work. Like, that's the setup, the escalation. You have Charlie as this individual victim, then you have the 5 more victims, and then you have 5 more, and then learning that there's additional stuff you can do with the original kids on top of that. Then you escalate it even further, hypothetically.
Yeah, I like the idea that it was an experiment.
That could have led to the creation of
that's
the Scooper too.
Yeah.
That'd be after, though, right? DCI would be
talk
after SL, right? Am I tricky?
I said you could. I put Sister Location a little later in the timeline, but
Like, I could see the creation of the Fun Times originally being before DCI, but Sister Location as a game.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
That's after.
For sure,
I
yeah.
mean the creation of the bunker.
It bothers me in the corner. Being one of the few people to believe Sister Location is before FNAF 2 in this call, probably.
I also think it's
Maybe does, yeah. Maybe I'd like to apologize for the 17 paragraph comment I left talking about your last video.
The only thing about the DCI potentially happening after Sister Location is if that happens, then how do you explain the Fun Times being all possessed? Because they're the MCI, sure, but William wouldn't know anything about possession until he sees the puppet, I'm pretty sure. So if that hasn't happened, then FNAF 2 hasn't happened yet. So it's
and
it's a weird time.
Wouldn't the puppet have been earlier in the timeline?
Well, yeah, but
because
when does William see that possession happen? Does it
I
happen
think-
all the way back?
I think he saw it in 85.
Yeah, I think in 85.
Well, to go with the escalation idea, I was talking about you have Charlie first proves something. It can happen, that there's some way for something to persist, even if he doesn't understand it yet. Then you have the MCI, or potentially the Fun Times if you want to go that route with Elizabeth, prove that there's a correlation, that these kids come to life in these characters. And then, like I said, the DCI is the escalation, repeat the experiment, prove for a fact it's possible. Or if you want to escalate, depending on the order, you can have like I said, the fusion idea of each thing teaches them a new thing. You have Charlie prove that possession is possible. MCI refines it down to why it's possible. DCI proves it's consistently possible and isn't bound to any one kid, and teaches him about Remnant, and then he executes on those ideas with fun times. That's my personal order. But there's plenty of ways to work it.
I wonder if... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, the way I interpreted it was...
Wizard, you got a membership.
was Charlie shows that something's up. And then he starts trying to figure out what it is, and that was the nightmare experiments. And I think from there, he sort of figures out, like from Charlie, he would sort of be aware that, hey, okay, so kid dies, animatronic also there, something happens. And so in order to continue experimenting, he has the Funtime animatronics built to catch kids. And so he does that, and I think like after Elizabeth is when he starts understanding Remnant more, but also he doesn't want to like have the whole situation where the robots are doing things and he's not in control of the situation. So I think from there is where he goes in and he kills the kids, the 5 kids, to be like, okay, will this work again in doing this? And then it works, but he gets in trouble and then has to go sort of undercover. I put sister location here for after this for a variety of reasons, but that's not the point. And then I think that the DCI was him attempting to get more Remnant because he was still wanting to like experiment with it and understand it better and do things like.
So there's
yes, I've been waiting for this one. Sorry, keep going.
I was just gonna say, with the idea of William experimenting using the DCI, I want to talk about Casa DCI in a bit, but with experimenting, there's something interesting about his behavior in Save Them versus how he treats the other like the MCI and Elizabeth and stuff. He seems to be actively working against the animatronics with Save Them, you can't. When he catches withered Freddy, it says you can't in the bottom right corner or bottom left corner. We could assume that that's either the puppet saying it or Golden Freddy, but I think it's only you get that message when you get attacked by Afton. And the bodies are all strewn about. They don't seem to be hidden. I wonder if we keep what we were talking about earlier with like the shadow idea, if perhaps William is experimenting with more than just possession, but like trying to manifest creatures. Could he potentially be trying to create something like potentially RWQ by like not stuffing the kids this time, but like having a concentrated act, and that's why they're all spread about the pizzeria? Maybe he's trying to see what sort of reactions things will have, what happens. There could be some sort of...
I don't know about
RWQ.
Sorry. I don't know about RWQ specifically, but it could be the case for the other Shadow Animatronics. The reason I don't put RWQ as being connected to the DCI is because RWQ, assuming the DCI happens during the week that we're working there, and RWQ is already making appearances on day one. I personally take that as him existing before him, but it's understandable if not. But I do really like the idea of what William's experimenting with here is less the possession and more what else works.
What else can happen?
I put out a thing recently on like public trading companies and where assets go when things are closed. For me, DCI, right now anyway, my main thinking about it is after MCI, we know the first Freddy's closes within a year. If he wasn't able to observe any kind of possession after the MCI before Freddy's closed, if we're to assume Fazbear is a public company, which it seems like it is because the paperwork we get in these games, most commonly, if there's a bankruptcy, the shareholders maintain assets until the business is reopened. It's called like a reorganization bankruptcy. And there even mentions in the FNaF 2 newspaper of like in the hopes of a future reorganization. So if this is the case, all this to say, in between the original Freddy's and FNaF 2 Freddy's being open, if the business is closed, the shareholders have the assets. William doesn't have access to the animatronics anymore. So my thinking was, once FNaF 2 opens, William is desperate to see if he can get a reaction out of these animatronics. So it's like, okay, what if I put on this Spring Bonnie suit and kill kids right in front of them to see if they react to me?
Actually, yeah, because I had
additional building on that with the stockholder idea. What if trying to sink Freddy's is the way of him trying to get the company back, and that's what makes sister location possible, like the rental service?
Interesting.
Like,
That's
think about
interesting,
how
because
public
then the
that
DCI
That is
massacre
really
is.
cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that.
Run that again. I misunderstood.
So the idea is this is a much more public, intentional massacre. Or not public, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot more of a massacre than the other one is. Like, the other one's all in the back room. It's hidden away. The fun times, once
It's
they're properly
premeditated.
made, are pretty stealthy. But the DCI is just strewn about the whole place. If Henry or the other stockholders and other owners are there, they would sell their stock in a dying company from a second huge massacre, and that would leave it all to William as the last remaining owner.
That's interesting. Because I have the thought that that's why he did the MCI in the first place, was that he lost access to the sister. I think Elizabeth dies before the MCI, and therefore he loses access to everything, and that's why he goes to do the MCI and to shut down Freddy's. I don't know how much ownership he retains into that part of the timeline. I don't know, but because he's working as a night guard there, so I don't know if he'd still have ownership or if he'd still be considered an owner. But it's interesting. I like the idea that he does it to shut down Freddy's. I think to like ruin it. And if the idea is that he doesn't have access to anything and he kills the MCI trying to see possession, it's really interesting then if he literally doesn't have a chance to work on them until the FNAF 2 location opens. Like you said, right? Like that could be that line works really well.
All right, I'm gonna move us on. Rye, Candy Cadet, go!
Oh boy.
Let her rip.
All right, so Candy Cadet.
This is gonna be interesting.
Do you want to go one story
I guess,
at a time, or
one at a time? One at a time.
Right, because it's like which Candy Cadet at this point, which is another whole thing on top of it. This is like one of the few topics that I've just purposely avoided. I think
Good call.
I am of the like old mindset of FNAF 6 where Candy Cadet is kind of just trying to reiterate the fun times situation. And I understand that, like there are differences within the stories, so and they are worthwhile to bring up, but like in my brain, it's kind of a matter of these stories were so rare to get that it was at the time I could see it being, yeah, there's different stories, but they all do kind of go around the idea of combining things. And at this point in the series, that was still kind of a fresh idea that a lot of people hadn't thought of before to help explain things.
Yeah.
Although I do understand there are differences that are meaningful and should be discussed. But I think the more pertinent conversation here for Candy Cadet is probably Help Wanted 2 and Ruin. Because, oh boy.
How does he know?
Boy, Help Wanted 2 and Ruin. Ruin, Candy Cadet. To me, I gotta make sure I'm not mixing up which story goes where.
That's the
for a
basement.
Candy
Trapped
Cadet, so I
in the
can correct them
basement.
which
There was a
one goes where if
monster.
needed.
That one.
I'm just pulling up the wiki real quick. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll pull up the stories on my end.
I had to pull up like 3 different wiki pages in order to get my stuff sorted out for my Candy Cadet video.
Cadet Ruin story.
Do we think that Candy Cadet might have some amount of like hauntedness to it to be able to see these things happening? Like, is that why it has that intelligence?
I think Candy
I think in the sense of memories.
Candy Cadet
lingering.
has to have at least.
Yeah, he has to.
So there's there's at least some sentience there. I don't know if it's particularly
because you can
haunting.
you can
Jesus,
argue
mimic.
in like you can argue in FNAF 6, like Henry programmed him to tell those stories, but in Ruin, how does he know?
Exactly.
To be
Like,
honest, like it's a lame explanation, but I had just been assuming that Scott and Steele will really like the concept of Candy Cadet, and that's just kind of a gameplay moment of like, oh, here's a cool way to tell this spooky story. I have not, and like that's a lame answer, right? Because they never do something like that. But with Candy Cadet specifically, I can't think of a good explanation for it to be, say, possessed. Now, could there be some kind of memory shenanigans going on? Sure. But for me, it's like Candy Cadet is so perfectly only able to tell a cryptic story. So, like, whenever they want to tell a cryptic story, they use Candy Cadet.
It's funny that it shows
Maybe
up in
we'll,
Williams' hell in UCN.
Yeah.
It's in the office, right?
Yeah.
It's clearly supposed to tell us that Old Man Consequences is Candy Cadet.
I mean,
for all we know.
Consequences Cadet.
Cadet new peak theory.
Yeah,
just
Cryonite and I had the absolutely insane idea that the story about the woman with the 5 keys is referring to save them from FNAF 2. Because she goes outside her room, the 5 bodies are all in different rooms, and she wants to save them, but she cannot. So she takes the key to 5 deaths. The only problem is that there's 6 bloodstains in the DCI.
True.
That's the only weird thing about it. Everything else about it fits a little too well.
The Ruin story, I don't think is a massive lore drop because the Ruin story to me just seems like a parable of
Mimic
Ruin.
foreshadowing.
Yeah. Whereas like the Help Wanted 2 story, I think is the meaningful one.
Yeah.
When the Help Wanted 2 story being the young woman who goes to the woods, is almost eaten by the witch, comes back later stronger, and then the little boy like tricks her into the oven. I look at this.
Sorry.
No,
Go ahead. Sorry.
Bro had an epiphany.
I'm brainstorming here, so like, please.
Let me just look at this really, just like the story. But just when you were saying that, and we were talking earlier about Princess Cassidy. If the young woman is Cassidy, and the witch is William, and the young boy is potentially GGY, could that be part of what like IDs was saying about like moving Cassidy from William into Princess Quest and like trapping her there?
Well, you definitely need to see the full story links because
that would be the oven.
I do think that's a cool idea.
The story.
But
I
yeah,
got it. Tell you a story about a young woman who, when she was little, was led into a dark forest by a witch and almost eaten. She had fallen for the friendly voice without discernment and was led astray. She had escaped before being thrown into the oven, but would have a scar for the rest of her life. When she had grown, she sought revenge on the witch and entered the forest again willingly, this time with the confidence of age and experience. She was greeted at the mouth of the forest by a young boy who offered to help guide her through the darkness. She welcomed the help and followed the young boy over the river, through the jagged trees, and toward a small house. "Come," the boy said, "rest here before killing the witch." The young woman was tired and would kill the witch in the morning. She followed the boy into the house. The oven door closed. The witch would finally have her meal.
Bravo.
We all just shut up and
Very
let him
good.
cook for a minute.
Here's my half-assed Candy Cadet impression.
What's the scar?
So
She had
the
a
way
scar for the
I
rest of her
interpret it is the thing is like the stuff in Pizzeria Simulator connects into Pizzeria Simulator, like whether or not it's the Molten Freddy situation or my interpretation is it's giving us insight into 3 different characters that are sort of coming together to beat William. Charlie, Michael, and Henry. So that connects to the events of Pizzeria Simulator. The Ruin one connects directly into what's happening in Ruin right then. And I think that the Help Wanted 2 one is similar, where, especially since it's another one in the Steel Wool era, I think it's supposed to be about our player character. And the way I interpret it is we're playing as Cassie's dad. And I think he's Help Wanted Jeremy. And that the scar is what happened where he sliced his face. But the thing is, when they mentioned, there's a mask on the floor, it's described as a Halloween mask, and the lights in the room were on. So if Tape Girl was in there and it was just a guy's fleshy face bits, I feel like she would have seen that. But if it was like an actual mask cut off, that could look more like a Halloween mask, and it would be easier to mistake the blood for ink.
Yo, Crab,
I think
thank
that
you
Jeremy
so much for the
survived
5 gifted. That
barely.
Thank you so much for that.
And like
That
also
means
there's a
world to me.
lawsuit mentioned, and my assumption would be he's alive in order to sue. And I think he wanted revenge on Glitchtrap for what happened to him, even though he managed to escape. And so he comes back to Fazbear Entertainment as a technician, but through the Vanny mask, Helpy or whatever lures him to the place and gets him stuck, and then he dies.
Yeah, ultimately the light bulb
Go
I
ahead.
put together for a recent video was that little boy is, if that's the case, that little boy is definitely Helpy, which I think a lot of people would like miss at first, but you look at Ruin, that's your little guide boy, and he's luring you straight into the oven.
That's true.
Interesting.
I like that.
I want to
You know,
talk about on
honest,
the.
I was
Vanny
never
with
convinced.
Healthy in it.
I was never convinced on Cassie's dad being Jeremy Help Wanted until just now. I do like that rationale.
Yay!
You know,
I
like
want to
it
say
too.
though, for the
far-fetched,
the
but,
Halloween
not
mask on the
that
floor thing.
far-fetched.
Oh, go ahead, Jojo.
Oh, I was just gonna say it sounds
You're my
far-fetched,
guest,
but
finish.
not like a bad far-fetched, because like what else is there supposed to be?
Yeah, and like for FNaF, this is relatively reasonable.
In this case, would we be able to then say that we don't have to take the genders and ages of characters in the other stories as literal? Because if this is
So the
about
way I
Jeremy
take
and we're
it
talking
is-
about a young woman,
Well,
Yes.
I mean-
the way I take it is with the steel wool ones, the genders are relatively flipped.
Okay.
So there is
Interesting.
so in and I don't think the ages really matter generally too much. But like in the mimic ruin one, there's the mom with whose voice is mimicked to lure the young boy. Meanwhile, in Ruin, we have Gregory's voice being copied to lure Cassie, and that swaps the genders there. So when I was initially looking into the Help Wanted 2, sorry if I'm dominating the conversation. I just did a video on Candy Cadet, and I'm really excited about the topic. But I looked at it from the perspective of the genders being flipped, and if we are playing as Cassie's dad, that made sense to me. That like, okay, we've got in this story, we've got this woman who, if we flip the genders, that's a guy. And then there's a witch who's a her, but glitch trap, whatever, is probably like it's referred to as an it, but like it's got the his code still in there, so he switches to girl. Helpy is it's a thing.
yeah,
But-
it's more just like
can't really
rolled.
switch on that one. Little boy, little
Yeah,
girl, help you.
Yeah. Yeah, ID. I
But
want to
yeah,
add.
I don't think
to
that
the
one
Jeremy
matters
thing
too much.
real quick.
But I do think that the genders match in the original ones, because my interpretation is the story of the young woman with the keys is about Charlie trying to help the missing kids. And I think the one about the boy with the snake is Michael during Sister Location. In the lead up to, and then the events of Sister Location, putting his sister back together, and like turning a blind eye, because the snake is described as the color red.
Wait.
Anyway, it doesn't matter too much. And then I think that the kind man who let the orphans into his home, I think that's Henry. And then a burglar shows up, kills the 5 kids. It's like, oh, yep, there's the MCI. And so I think that's where that is.
I think I just got it. That's the Jeremy being the Help Wanted 2 tester with the Gita paper slasher thing.
Yeah.
What if the Halloween mask is literally just the Vanny network mask he wears, and the paper slicer is to get the chip out of his head?
Yes.
The paper slicer is to get the chip out of his head.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And yeah, that would be the
that's
star
actually way
left on it,
better.
was trying to get it off.
It could
It's like we do
definitely
Fanny Mask in Help Wanted,
Good. That's
and if you look at the other side of it, it looks a little bloody.
This
Red.
kind of goes
What is
back
that?
to the like semi-joke theory that me and Underscore brought up on a podcast recently, with the Help Wanted 2 house that we get that has that mural of the like old-fashioned cart and all this mask
They're like the
symbology.
caravan.
Yeah, the caravan. This half joking, half like a what if, but like it feels like this is building up to whatever inspiring the Fall Fest or early Fredbears being this like traveling mask-based circus, because masks are getting way more important way quickly, like so quickly.
Yeah.
We have to see like just a portion of the factory in Secret and Mimic that just has like masks. It's just got to be a mask room, which will be
Imagine
freaky.
there is a
Inherent-
flat-out
it-
Fanny Mask
if,
just
if,
there.
if that was a thing, there's like a bunch of masks. That would make for a crazy second of the game.
Well,
But it
yeah,
would make
because we know that Vanny made her mask, but yeah, what if? Okay, so this is
She made her costume. The mask
Who left?
the mask isn't the same as the costume. The heads are the head
It's
of the
a different
costume.
one,
The
yeah.
mask
the heads
is
are, the heads are
interesting.
different
It's
within.
inspired design-wise, but
Well-
it's not the same.
Yeah,
Well, it is
Okay, so-
ultimately a
so the
question
mask
if
could have
she
existed.
if she could have made the mask. That's what you have to ask yourself. Could she have made that, or did she get that somewhere?
Well, it's also like an official part of Fazbear like employees, so it's like I guess she probably did not make it.
Strangely.
But think about it this way, because we also the Bonnie mask at the end of Help Wanted 2 and linked it back
Maybe that
to
was
the
his
Bonnie
mask.
bully.
Yep.
But yeah, what if that was the mask? That was the Halloween mask. We're playing as a Jeremy. It's is that something? Because
That is another idea.
it is a Halloween mask too. It looks more like the Halloween mask in there.
Well, maybe he took his mask and modified
in
it while under glitch traps control.
Not to mention the poppets all just being a basic doll with a mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Masks have been a thing in the series for a while based on that, because if we go back to Happiest Day, it's the kids wearing their animatronics masks.
Don't we first?
And then Andrew has his alligator mask and all that.
If we're doing mimic, like recreating things, he literally found a Jeremy to become like Bonnie. Like that's his kind of
another Jeremy to be another Bonnie.
Yeah.
When we first get the Vanny mask in Fall
and the
Fest,
staff bot has ears. The staff bot he gets put into his ears.
I was about to say that with Fall Fest. In the
This might be another connection.
Vanny claims she made her mask. She says, "Yes, I have it. I made it myself." That's the dialogue you get.
Yeah,
when you
that's what I was
glitch trap
thinking.
with the mask.
I will say this might be a nothing connection, but it is worth mentioning that we first get the Vanny mask by going through wooden cellar doors down cement stairs. Does anyone remember in a recent book that came out something that we found going through wooden cellar doors down cement stairs?
Oh, and where does it? Oh, wait, no.
And it leads to a doll that looks
Leads to
like
a sister.
maybe Eleanor,
Yeah.
maybe Circus Baby ?
Yeah, and it leads to a circus baby or a sister location elevator in Help
Don't love
Wanted
that.
2.
Oh,
Nope.
God.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I wasn't even thinking about. I was
Yeah.
talking about.
Why is that there?
How are we actually cooking?
No, I know,
Yeah,
but I'm
no.
saying I'm connecting the thing you're
No,
connecting
yeah, you're
back to it.
right. You're right.
That's crazy.
All right, Jojo? Do you want to start us on Psychic Friend Fredbear? Any thoughts on that?
Oh boy! Oh, I get to start psych. He's here. He's there. He's everywhere.
Everywhere
We're
we're gonna call Psychic Friend Fredbear.
Okay,
Oh.
so my opinion on Psychic Friend Fredbear. I got put on the mic.
Where do I start? I will die on the hill that this thing is a walkie-talkie and not a hallucination, because why would Scott have put that in the private room office? And
Is it a walkie-talkie or is it camera control?
I
It
feel
is
like
real. The doll is real.
It has a speaker
I feel
on
like
it.
The doll is. It has a speaker.
The crying
I
child
feel
is
like
inside of
it's
it.
real.
Whoa.
And if we're going off the theory and the suspicion that bite victim or crying child was a victim of the experiments, it would definitely be like every little place is a different plushie, like that you see on the map when he's like Flowey and stuff.
Cameras, at least, yeah.
Yeah, if it's in the experiments and the map to Fredbears and stuff that we see that's connected in the sister location bunker is experiments and bite victim was an experiment victim, then it would be a real plushie and each one of those was like actual locations. Or it was almost like it was a, hear me out, that brain chip. You know how Helpy talks to you? What if William put a little brain chip inside bite victim? I just came up with that on the fly.
Insanity.
Doesn't
That would be
mimic the
wild.
kind of imply
Psychic
the
friend-
AR has existed since
Psychic friend
70?
brain chip.
This
No, I'm
is
kidding.
true.
It's like he's
It's
got
like
the
a brain
fucking
chip.
disc, the gas, the brain chip. He's
I'm
wombo
willing to-
comboing him.
I'm willing to bite the
Poor
bullet
kid.
that, like, when FNAF 4 was being developed, he was like, it's all a dream. I can put this little Fredbear thingy anywhere. And then when
Yeah.
Sister Location came out, he was like, everybody forget that I did that, please. Please forget that it's a flower, please.
Yeah,
I'm almost positive it was not the killer when the game came out. I don't think,
Yes.
even if it's Purple Guy now, I do not think Psychic Friend Fredbear was originally Purple Guy.
I agree.
The only thing that I
Agree,
have
agree.
to imagine that Scott potentially intended for Fredbear to be some sort of walkie-talkie device, and maybe is being like interpreted by the bite victim or something, is the fact that the end of night cutscenes end with "Tomorrow is another day," which is a strange quote to give to like a child possessing something. And it also speaks very eloquently and quite like, you know, it seems to have a grasp on the situation. But like, "Tomorrow's another day" is like a quote from Gone with the Wind, right? So it's like, that's kind of an older movie reference. Maybe it's trying to imply that whoever's talking through this is of an older age group. You know, it's sort of the way it acts, you could argue, is more like an adult who is in control of a situation rather than as a child who is like kind of possessing this little doll, you know, and the fact that it doesn't intervene in any sort of way in the final 2 nights of the game, which is we're in the final 2 mini games before
because you're in the back room and you see if that's a person, you see that and it doesn't talk when it's in the suit. I don't know. Matt said it's wires. I wouldn't draw wires like that. I would make them like colored.
I used to think it was just like fur.
I think it's hair or a really ugly shadow.
Yeah, I think it's fur or wires. And the thing is, they just chose a dark color because I think the point is partially the whole like things
What's
in
the shadows,
mind of the child.
Misunderstood things.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of supposed to be something to throw us off the scent, sort of like how we had to be like, wait, FNAF 2 isn't a sequel, even though it has 2 in the name. I think that could be something where it's like maybe the crying child he's freaking out, so he assumes that he would think maybe it's hair, but it's I wouldn't draw hair like that either, personally.
And I think as well, if he's inside the suit, they have a different color for like they should have a different color for what's in the suit and the back of the suit, but it's both just the one color. It seems to be like the shadow inside the suit and the hair itself are all the one color. But I think it's not supposed to be a body because it's also like people work in Fredbear's and like it's an active back room presumably. Even if they went in to get them, they'd be like, oh wait, yeah, exactly.
Because this is still an era where Fredbear is still in use. People would have gone there and found the body at this point.
Well, but
I think there's a reason the message is what's seen in the shadows is easily misunderstood in the eyes of a child, and not what is seen in the shadows is easily seen by a child. Crying child misunderstood what he saw, and those are the wires.
Yeah, I think as well.
That could be true.
I think ID, you're onto something. Like you're right in when you're saying that like there are elements of this game which are designed to make you think one thing, but you're supposed to reflect on them in a different way. Like for example, the whole, you know, oh, if you die, they hide your body and they come to life at night. All that kind of stuff is making you think, oh, this is after all the kids are dead. This is after this. This is after that. But then you have like I think even the Bite of 83 yeah, I think even the bite is supposed to give you the Markiplier reaction. You know, you're supposed to go, was that the bite of 87? And then eventually, you know, like in the same way that with the FNAF 2 game, it's like you're playing through it and you're going, oh, this is a sequel. Oh, wait, no, it's a prequel. Oh, it must be about the MCI. Wait, no, it's not. It's about a whole different thing, you know.
Yeah.
There's kind of like these layers of pulling back reveals one after the other after the other.
All right, I'm taking a big swing here. Does anyone think that it's Cassidy or Charlie in the plus?
Well, you have to be
exclusively at the final night. I think it's Charlie.
Because which speaker do you want to ask about? Because you have the first one, which is the first 5 nights. Then you got that text color change on the final one, where it's a lighter yellow.
Another part of the reason I talked about it a bit earlier, but another part of the reason I think it's Charlie more so and not William there is I personally think it would be weird for William to be like, oh yeah, we're still your friends. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
I feel like if it was like, oh, it's the text color changes because it's William in person in the hospital or something, I feel like he would be referring to like, oh, this is my son. It's like, hey, I'm your father, I'm going to protect you, sort of thing.
The only problem I have with that is I will put you back together becomes like the Afton final smash. They all say that.
For that, I think that's more to connect the concepts. I think putting together isn't a character specific thing. I think it's just a thing that is a thing, you know? I think it's a situation where different characters say it because they're all doing the same thing.
My take oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I think that there's like kind of a thematic reversal with the 2 different I will put you back togethers. One of them is about Bite Victim and trying to make him happy and create like Happiest Day or at least, you know, help his soul. Whereas with Elizabeth, when she is put back together, quote unquote, by Michael, in the next game, she's crazy and just wants to kill everyone and work for William. So I think we're seeing like the 2 sides of the same coin. Both are being put back together, but one is being in with good intention and one is with bad.
I liked Gibby's take that the yellow eyes was actually Michael Afton. That was very unique. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah,
is he alive? He lives.
Not super like married to that interpretation of it. I do think that there's a lot of important symbolism to take and a lot of very important lines you can draw between Psychic Fredbear in FNAF 4 and then the mystery glowing eyes in FNAF World.
course.
I'm not married to the idea that like it is Mike, but I do think it's important to note that like it's the glowing eyes in the void in FNAF World that repeats the lines from FNAF 4.
Yes.
And that the glowing eyes in the void is not the glitch bear that then will go on to like talk to your character throughout FNAF World. Like those are two different characters. If you look at like all their speaking lines, they actually contradict each other. And so I think that's like a very important, like there's a good glitchy bear and a bad Freddy bear thing.
I don't even think that there's like two different bad. They're just two different perspectives at the very least.
Yeah, or two people
they're
like
objectively not talking to the same person.
Yes.
Yeah, I have an interpretation of the
different
Fredbear
each time.
plush that is a bit different, and I want to share it. So I believe that the speaker from FNAF 4 is William.
Okay.
But the reason that we see the glitch bear in FNAF World is because, so we can agree the Fredbear plush, this is obvious, was like the crying child's favorite toy when he was alive. It was like his comfort thing. So, in a game that I believe is centered entirely around freeing the crying child's soul, it would make sense for whoever it is that's trying to save him to take on the form of that plush. It doesn't have to be the same person as FNAF 4. It can just be going like through the same kind of, I guess, kind of like voice filter thing, taking on a similar character that Crying Child liked when he was alive. I think it's Charlie doing this. I think it's Charlie helping the Crying Child, but yeah, like pretending to be.
I think generally, I agree that like maybe it's just taking on the form of something he trusts. But the thing is, like in the final scene where it connects to the final lines in FNAF 4, there isn't a bear on the screen. It's just these two glowing eyes in the void. So it's not necessarily a plush situation.
Yeah,
and the lines connect so directly that it does. It's not just a case of like just the "I will put you back together" line. It's like the entire conversation is like mirrored over.
I think a similar thing. For a bit, I've been thinking about the idea of like what these spirits see in the afterlife, because we know from like so many different examples that they're not, if they're for whatever reason, some reason their spirit is compromised, they're not seeing what's actually going on, right? And I'll throw something in the VC chat. I link back to the fourth closet when the missing child incident victims, until they are helped and given their memories back, they see William as the like cartoon rabbit character that they knew Spring Bonnie to be. So linking that with Cassidy, the theory that I've been rocking with for a little bit is that since in this interpretation, Cassidy would be the only spirit in Golden Freddy at the time of, there's a little bit of a time gap. Essentially, it was Crying Child dies, and he's kind of just a lost spirit wandering for a bit. And the first thing to reach out to him and connect with him is, in his eyes, his little psychic friend Fredbear character that he held so dear. But that's just how Cassidy appears to him because of Cassidy's vessel. So that was kind of the thinking that I had there.
That's the same way it worked with Jake and Andrew in the Stitch line. Is Andrew's just kind of like there, doesn't really know what's happening. He's like hurt a few people, can't really remember anything, and then Jake arrives, and suddenly they can like talk to one another, and Jake like helps Andrew remember stuff. So if we're going for like a parallel idea, or like not even saying they're not necessarily in the same universe, but that the possession works in the same way as if you have two people sharing one thing, that, you know, if Cassidy shows up even years later, she can still access that form and those memories and help him in the way we see with the logbook.
Yeah, like Rytoast brings up Alone Together for the 1000th time.
Rytoast brings it up?
No, just make a joke that I bring up this book every other month, because Alone Together is so important. But in Alone Together, there's that whole thing about like, if your body is undiscovered, or your memory, or like you don't know your own death, you kind of just wander around the places you've been, and you may not even know that you're dead. And I see that a lot with like the MCI victims and with the Crying Child specifically, and all of this. So there's just more precedence for that possibility.
So to expand upon that, this is something I talked about in the Golden Freddy video. The phrase "you're broken" is interesting because it's said before the version of him in the hospital flatlines, which implies he's broken before he even dies, depending on how we view that incident. Which means either the character talking then knows he's already dead, and like I said, this is a flashback thing, or he's broken before he even dies. And that would be interesting going with what I was talking about, with the idea of part of him could be attached to Fredbear because of the bite, but then his actual body dies in the hospital, which would be the lost soul, lost for a long time before Cassie kind of reaches out and reins it back in some. Potentially.
It's notable that FNAF World ends. The secret, the clock ending of FNAF World is in a random spot in the middle of the woods, and what is also in the middle of the woods, but a lump in Midnight Motorist.
I was gonna say.
Depends on how you
it's
interpret
around.
things, certain things, who's who in the minigame, but yeah.
True, of course. Yeah, the one interpretation.
Yes.
Could we also say that because in FNAF World, I was looking at the opening cutscenes recently, and there's a really interesting line that the Spooky Eyes say, and it's just after the like repeating of the FNAF 4 lines, I think, and like the everything that happens out there. I'm just trying to get the exact quote here. So something went very wrong. That's why I am here, but I won't let the same happen to you. This is presumably talking to the bite victim. So whatever the Yellow Eyes is trying to prevent is something that has happened to them.
Happened before.
Already. Yeah. So, and there's something that went very wrong out there. That's why I'm here, i.e. in the void. So I won't let the same happen to you kind of sounds like this. The Yellow Eyes is already lost.
Crazy. Oh, sorry, not to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say crazy idea off of that as an answer to that, which I hadn't thought about that before. In a shatter victim sense. Okay, so combining a couple ideas all at once. Stormister's interpretation of the vengeful spirit, that the reason the vengeful spirit gets attached to William is William kind of takes apart Golden Freddy and attaches it to himself in between FNAF 3 and FNAF 6, which I love that theory. I think it's spot on, but it's still just a theory, of course. But if that's true, and combining what you just said about the intro to FNAF World, if that event is what prevents the vengeful spirit from moving on, because now the vengeful spirit is in pieces, is that looking at the crying child, hey, they can't move on, we're gonna find your pieces and help you move on.
Yeah, it's like a shatter Cassidy.
Interesting, but that would imply that they
just a spitball.
The other idea I had with that line is, and this is part of my theory, Cassie, I forgot my own theory names. Molten MCI Alter S was the idea that Golden Freddy never got dismantled. It started out as vengeful spirits lashed onto William, but then it kind of spun out of control with that. But the idea of I won't let the same happen to you. The other 4 were dismantled, but Cassidy as Golden Freddy can't let that happen to you again. If they are connected in one suit, Cassidy has the power to prevent that suit from being destroyed.
Interesting. I kind of see it as Golden Freddy doesn't have a physical form by the end of the series, which could even go further into saying that they're potentially broken up. That because Golden Freddy's the only animatronic, as far as I can off the top of my head, that changes appearances like without having like a logic. There's a reason that they would repair the Golden Freddy suit and make it into a classic in FNAF 1. I don't think there's a reason that Yendo would be a funtime animatronic. We never see Golden Freddy in the minigames post FNAF 2. I think there's a potential that after, whether it's the DCI or just after the closure of FNAF 2, that the withered Golden Freddy suit is just completely scrapped, and that from there, Cass, as the rest of them do, and just sort of like follows them around and can look like, if they're in the fun times, she looks like the fun times. If they're in the classics, she looks like the classics. That idea is she's just following them everywhere they go. And then you'd have that idea with, if that's the case, that's why Cassidy can't access Happiest Day, maybe, is because their physical form was literally destroyed. And they have to like put the bite victim back together for him and the others.
On the note of Golden Freddy, we landed on underscore for the wild card. How would you feel about FNAF 1 Golden Freddy is in?
You cut out. You definitely cut out.
You cut out. Okay. How would you feel about explaining the Golden Freddy might not be real video?
Oh, dude, that one was so fun. I like that one. That's a movie one. That's more of like a movie video I did.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it started talking about the drawing that you see that controls the animatronics. And I think a lot of people ultimately noticed that there appears to be a face put over what you would assume is the Golden Freddy kid. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I tried a bunch of weird ways to figure out what that meant. But one of the funnest things that I've noticed over the years that I wanted to make a stupid idea on was there's this little one line from FNaF World. And it really depends who you think you're going to play as in FNaF World. But let's say for some reason in FNaF World you are playing as like Cassidy or something. There's this one crazy line that I picked out, and it's the line that says "You were made for one thing," and I had fun applying that. Weird. And you know what? And I tied it in Help Wanted 2. You take in the soda minigame to get the Golden Freddy plush. Mm-hmm. You take 4 sodas, add them all together, and then you take the soda can from somewhere else and dump that in, and that makes Golden Freddy for you. The idea was this weird shot in the dark about what if, and mostly for the movie kid, that kid never technically existed as a kid, and is some weird child created through the combination of these other spirits.
The Super Power Ranger.
That is what that is.
Megazord.
I like
cool.
that idea.
I remember I saw that video. It was really cool.
There was a theory from someone else floating around that Golden Freddy isn't real, but not in that sense, where it's more like a weird ghost of everything. Not just that, like just everything, all the bad stuff. It's weird, but I like it.
Yeah, it was not that. You'd think from the thumbnail it's like, oh, he thinks Golden Freddy isn't physical, and then you click in and it's like, oh, he doesn't think the kid existed. That's cool.
My only issue with that is what is the name? Where does the name Cassidy come from?
Okay,
if there was no actual child.
Let me be clear. It was mostly for the movies. I think Cassidy existed, but what if there was a weird twist around in the movies? That's what I'm getting at.
There's
unless Cassidy's not Golden Freddy's name.
I swear to God.
Let's calm down.
It's the bite victim.
I was gonna say
it's Andrew.
Andrew.
It's Andrew.
Andrew. The puppet
Cassidy,
doesn't have an official name in the games.
Not yet.
It's just a survival logbook.
So I mean, if you wanted to branch out on that, I would open up the discussion to what the fuck is going on with the Golden Freddy movie kid, because this is just a prediction. I don't air quotes believe this, but if it happened to be true, I would dance on everybody's graves. Those kinds of discussions.
Whoa.
Rockstar MCI.
So anybody else have any interesting notes about the Golden Freddy kid in the movie or the MCI in general?
I would say that one detail, he does pull up to somebody's house. Detail number 2, he is very clearly playing the role of like a kind of vengeful spirit in that movie, or if not
he looks like the picture.
They make an effort to distinguish him. He's the only one that knows what's going on, oddly enough. The other 4 animatronics aren't fooled, but the Golden Freddy kid knows Spring Bonnie's the killer, which I find that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting note about Golden Freddy in general is, in Follow Me, the 5th spirit's the one that corners Afton. I mean, the other 4 are blocking it off, but they're the one doing stuff. Fourth Closet, Michael Brooks doesn't recognize William as William. He recognizes him as Spring Bonnie, but he's the only one who's minded otherwise. He's the one trying to help every other kid. And the movie, like you said, he's the only one that seems to be fully aware of what's going on of the missing kids, and he can talk.
And the only one
his
that
face never
speaks,
blurs out.
the only one that speaks, if I'm correct, is him.
Yeah. I mean,
Foxy Kid yells
Freddy Kid
once.
says, Freddy Kid also says, "Follow me" in that one scene.
Follow. All right, this is what I've been most excited for. Raven, the retcon, the one retcon.
Oh.
What is it?
Oh no!
This is the one thing I didn't prepare for. Okay. I'm the one retcon.
Axiom unites again.
Well, I think after the conversation we had in this, actually, I think it would have to be with the arrest of someone, specifically the conviction part of it, not the charging, but rather the conviction part.
Yeah.
The reason for that is because
I'm
every
still
time
fully sold on that.
That's always been a weird line in that newspaper to me, because the headline says one thing, but then the body of the newspaper says one thing. So my guess is Scott just didn't know the difference between charged and convicted, and used them interchangeably.
I do also want to say that like every time it's
Well,
ever
retcon
brought up
means
in the
something Scott had to
future,
have confirmed
but not
at one
go
point.
to jail.
like every time it's ever brought up in the future.
I
There you
bought
go.
this a while ago.
Are you dying?
Oh, he's withering or cooked.
Sorry,
Am I withering?
my back.
Yeah, that's usually my thing.
All right, unwithered,
You're
go.
back, I think.
I thought this a while ago about the FNaF 3 tapes from Phone Guy, and I was thinking about the retcon and how it probably is of something earlier in the series before Scott started planning anything. And it's probably from still early enough in the series that he didn't feel bad about retconning something. Like he probably, by the time of Sister Location, was against the idea of retconning, as he says in that post. But in FNaF 3, there's a very distinct and definite point made that the safe rooms are off camera and that they're not on the security grid. And part of what that newspaper says got the killer caught was that they were seen on camera luring children to a back room. So I was thinking about it. I was like, is there any other reason beyond the safe room not being present in FNaF 1 to specifically mention that it's off camera and it shouldn't be mentioned to family or friends? Don't tell anyone about it. And then they close it up after the MCI. I was just thinking if perhaps that was Scott saying, hey, he couldn't have been caught the way I said he was in the first game because there isn't enough proof now because I've changed it so that it can't be true. He can't be caught on camera because he, I know he could be caught down at another end of the restaurant or whatever, but I think it's just interesting that where the kids were killed. Yeah, and that it's like he chose to put the kids in that room. He could have just like had them get killed in the party room or in Pirates Cove or anywhere. But like he could have had them killed in Parts and Service. But he specifically creates a new room that's off camera so that they can't be caught on camera.
I had interpreted the line in FNaF 3 as meaning the room itself was not on the cameras. The room itself, like maybe the door was not on the cameras.
Yeah, you can still see him luring them in the hallway.
But I do think it's possible that like the cameras still caught William taking kids into like the back of this out into the employees only areas of the building. But yeah,
you definitely could have.
Well, yeah, because ultimately
thought it was interesting to specify that anyway, because it's like, who cares?
Because there was even in FNaF 1 there was no camera in the room specifically because no one caught on camera him doing the murdering.
It's the bathroom hallway cam is facing away from the safe room, but you could still see someone go that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
that's-
still have the main party room camera, which is directly in the center of everything, so we get a lot viewed there.
That's the thing. It's just logically, even if we say that's not part of it, it's like, okay, so we see a guy, he enters the building, he goes into the back room, a yellow bunny comes out, then kids go into the back room, the yellow bunny disappears and a man comes out. It's like, I don't know how in any state, in any country, in any world that's like ours, that wouldn't at least lead to some sort of some sort of charge that would actually be convictable, like, whether it's kidnapping or whatever. It's like, you were the last person.
Well, do they have proof that the kids didn't take some other route and go some other way? And also, I'm not sure the law logic is meant to be entirely.
They dug out with a spoon.
Because the thing is, the reasoning they typically give is the bodies were never found, therefore the murder charges wouldn't stick.
Kidnapping.
Yeah, but that's
nothing was ever
that's
proven in a court of law.
Court of law.
Yeah, but that's what we mean. It's like
nothing was proven. It doesn't mean people weren't aware. People knew, but that doesn't mean it was proven technically.
Yes.
Also, I still think the retcon is
looking.
just save him changing to save her.
But
I just think that's
Seamless.
Timing.
Yeah, the reason I don't think that is partially because it wouldn't be pretty seamless, but also Scott made his statement about the retcon before Pizzeria Simulator came out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
from what he said, from what he said, it implies that at this point, and he mentions that and no one seems to have noticed it, so it's probably fine. And at that point, we didn't know that Charlie was the puppet spirit. So I don't think.
When did he make the statement?
2 months
Before
before
2017.
Pizza Simulator came out. So Pizza Sim was not out. So we could not have
Sorry,
known.
everyone
that
answered at
Charlie
once,
was
and
in
I
the
didn't
puppet.
get an answer.
It came out a few months before Pizzeria Simulator came out.
Okay.
September 4th,
And that's the
2017.
game where we
No
find
one-
out that Charlie was in the puppet. So yes, it came up like a month before. So
I guess
anyway.
my counterpoint is the Silver Eyes came out in 2015.
The Silver Eyes
Yeah,
did
but
come
then
out,
connected to
but would there have been
yeah.
any way to know that Charlie was the spirit in the puppet?
No, but I do think that it shows Scott had already been working on this adjusted version of the story since then.
Yeah, but no
It
one
does,
noticed
but,
it.
but
yet.
his
I
statement
literally
also
said no one
implies
noticed
that
it, or most
it was
people didn't.
possible for people to have noticed it, and he said he hadn't seen it causing any problems, which implies it could have had the potential to cause problems, given it would be something that people could find. The way I explained the him to her situation, and sorry if I sound sarcastic, that's probably mostly me being sick. But the way I interpret it is because the puppet canonically is he, him pronouns.
That's fair.
And there's points in the story, like, and if Cassidy is a she, but like the one you should not have killed, if that is Cassidy, is referred to as a he as well, but Golden Freddy is a he. So to me, that sort of is a consistent thing where the characters, the spirits themselves are referred to as the animatronics they possess because the identities overlap so much at this point.
Okay.
And by the time, and when we're seeing the save him minigame, it's already happened. Charlie is already in the puppet, which means like as we're seeing the minigame, the him pronouns already apply.
Fair. Would we see
I don't think it's
would the
retcon.
seamless retcon also just be shifting from Dream Theory to Sister Location then?
I don't think there's anything.
Possibly.
I think the
why
retcon
we
means it has to be
did that.
said. It has to be said, yes, this was something that happened, and then he has to change it. Otherwise, it's not a retcon. He has to be like, yes, this got never confirmed Dream Theory.
I also
Yeah.
there was
It could be
nothing
like the
seamless
mangle
about
toy or
Dream
something.
Theory. to
I
be
agree he
honest.
never directly came out and said this is Dream Theory, but I will take to my grave that when he was making FNAF 4, he was like, and it was all a dream, and then he released it and went,
I don't
oh,
think so.
you guys don't like that. And then started working on Sister Location.
Even if
I
that's
could
true,
not
though,
disagree more.
Even if that's true, though, Scott specifically says it was like a seamless transition, and there was nothing seamless.
I just
about
think he's
Dream
cocky.
Theory.
I just think he's cocky.
So my
Here's the
favorite
thing, though,
version
right?
of retcon, right or wrong, is so this is what I point out in a recent video that there's the girl in the playground who has the broken set of toys.
Oh,
And
no.
the only other broken toy, and it's one that would match this set, would be the mangle toy in the girl's bedroom. Right? She's the only one who breaks toys. It's specifically called out as being referenced to the toy animatronics by Scott. Why would the tiny toy Chica be missing her beak? A detail that links to toy Chica who loses her beak. And it's Mangle who is connected to the toy animatronics, and there's no sister location at this point in time, so that's the only connection you can make.
Arcade theory. Arcade theory.
And she has an outfit that, minus some details, is Elizabeth's outfit almost one-to-one. The only real change to her design is her hair and eye color, which would be a hypothetical retcon. Because you had already designed Baby, who always had green eyes in her art, and we see in the development making screen.
So I thought,
And originally, Baby had brown hair in her model or whatever. I guess, based on
I have a
Sean.
different take on that.
Can I come out
yeah.
here with a crack theory
Go off.
Yeah.
that lives in the back of my head? So the empty girls room in FNAF 4. What if the original story was supposed to be that something happened to the sister, and that's
And
what
she's
Crying
the-
Child saw?
The doll.
And
Yes,
so
yes,
then,
yes.
so then, okay, so the crying child sees whatever happens to the sister, and the reason that Michael has like all the haunting dreams, and the FNAF 4 character can stay the same is because, like he murked crying child, but something happens to crying child, and that's why the girl's room is not crying. Something happens to her. She becomes the puppet, and then the puppet is the one that guides him to Happiest Day. So originally, it was supposed to be that's where Sammy and Charlie came from.
Yes,
is it was like a Sammy Charlie thing. So the reason that the girl's room was empty was originally it was supposed to be a Sammy Charlie, but inverted because they came out in the same year. They both came out in 2015. So it was an inverted Sammy Charlie to be a parallel to the books. I've been sleeping on this theory for so long.
I've been writing a script right now. I'm writing a script with exactly that idea. I have one more piece of evidence, if I may, just before
Yes,
you debunk it.
I literally didn't pull. I'm literally cooking. Like that was just off the top of my head.
So, okay, I was trying to think of what that why would so I was on the Sire Squawks thing about the girl outside with the toys. I think it's a really strong connection. It could be really good evidence. My only question would be, why would you introduce a sister character who's nobody, just like standing on the street? And the other thing
I
is,
have an answer for that.
I was trying. Okay, you could. I'll just say this other one first. So I was trying to think, why would you put a Funtime Foxy Mangle specifically toy into the girl's bedroom? And then I was looking back on Mangle in FNAF 2. The first thing that we're told about the Mangle is that they are a take apart, put back together attraction. And what does the Fredbear plush say at the end of FNAF 4? I will put you back together.
Oh.
So
it's
minor
like
criticism,
they play with a Mangle toy.
Is the crying child's fears are of the animatronics through that whole that his sister is his fear or response. So they'd have to be unrelated, which is a little weird. But for the sister point, the point of having her there is to justify the Mangle toy and all that being there. Because you could have Mike take apart his toys and all that, but we need Mangle to be there for the Happiest Day connections, because that's part of what all those toys do.
Right, okay.
So we would have to have one character who does that, so might as well, hey, if we do end up doing another game, we can do something with her. Or at the very least, we introduce a room to show that.
Okay.
And
I would just wonder why they wouldn't just give her the toy there.
Riddle me this. So, you know how there's the suspicious wires, hair, whatever you want to say in the suit? Scared of the animatronics because the, quote, animatronic ate the sister, reference to baby, and how, but the Sammy thing, Sammy was kidnapped from a closet, and Crying Child was locked in the closet and has the hair or whatever sticking out. I really think that there was somehow a Sammy pseudo plot line that was gonna fit into the games and be the Happiest Day thing, and then the second everybody hated the Dream Theory stuff, it just absolutely cracked. But I think that was the original thing.
Fun crackhead note for that.
Fun
crackhead.
That also works as to why Crying Child is dressed in black and white and talking to the Fredbear plush. There's a reason then why he is taking the form of a puppet, and it's not to show that he's becoming the puppet, it's to put them as like a mirror to one another. The Fredbear plush is his sister who is the puppet, and he looks like the sister who's, so they look like each other, because he eventually becomes Freddy and she becomes the puppet. Yeah, they just look like each other because they're twins.
One thing, because
oh
my goodness.
There's the Michael Elizabeth character foils where Elizabeth wants to do her dad good and Michael realizes
it's war.
Time. So there's that character, Michael and Elizabeth are absolutely character foils of each other, and I will die on that hill. So I think that's where it started off, was Crying Child, other sister, and then it turned into Crying Child was more just a byproduct of William's stupidity. The real sibling foils are Elizabeth and Michael.
Have we considered Michael likes pink?
Exactly. It's Michael's room.
It's the Foxy variant in the room. What if Michael just likes pink?
I would respect it.
Michael is a trans icon, and that's why William hates him.
I think it's Michael's bedroom.
One of Bite Victim's toys that he ripped
it's
apart.
Michael's bedroom.
He was just being a dickhead.
Could be.
I just think the fact that she's wearing this outfit is weird. The girl outside.
Yeah.
And that she's the only character who...
Oh, we're dumb. We're all
Are we all stupid?
Why?
dumb idiots.
Oh, what did you connect?
We're all
Oh god.
Tell us why we're
Look
dumb.
at my stream. Door right there.
Give us 7 seconds.
That's my...
What?
What's the lore?
I'm pretty sure that's the kitchen.
Backyard.
That's the living room.
Because we know a kitchen is in
Am I lagging?
Yeah, there is a spare bedroom or room account.
No, you're not lagging.
No, there's a door by.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just an idiot.
Yeah, that's
Sure,
why.
that could also just be the dad
well,
room. There's a lot of rooms on account.
Williams, you mean?
Yeah.
I forgot to make brownies.
I mean, are we assuming that the
Anyway, while I'm here,
house is a living room and a bedroom and nothing else?
Yeah,
there
are things we will never see here, because it would be stupid to draw the whole thing out.
And there could be multiple rooms off to the side. We don't know how much of the house we're not seeing in this layout.
Yeah.
Or it's just a fake
Well,
nightmare.
you see, the house is just this because all of this is FNAF 4 Nightmare Gas testing chambers, and he only built the necessary rooms.
Yes.
Yeah. How does that?
I mean,
how
he does have this entire neighborhood on watch. This entire neighborhood is on watch. So,
as a follow-up question, if we think that this house is like built in the experiment chambers, is that like implying that what happens in the FNAF 4 minigames didn't happen? It happened in chambers, or is it just saying that he recreated it perfectly?
I think
But I just wonder, like, does he have like a thing where
in the chambers.
I do like the idea that he recreated it, not perfectly, but he just recreated
Truman
the scenario
Show.
in Chambers. And then when Henry goes to build FNAF 6, he's like, well, I've got Chambers. Let me just take down some of these decorations.
Yeah.
I actually, that does go to the question about the by victim in the nightmare chambers. If his death week is something that's already been integrated, it's kind of weird. How does he know it's going to happen? Why is that
Gibby,
layout?
talk about FNAF 4.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I think I view.
Sounded like you had a gun to his head.
Maybe.
Talk about it.
The chat's been begging for it. I think people know it's going to kind of derail the discussion just because I think the minigames are a lot more interpretist and symbolic than a lot of other people take them. Like, obviously, I think we all just agreed that the house isn't just 3 rooms and it's not obviously the size of the entire neighborhood. But I think it's even more symbolic than that. Like, I don't think that the talking Fredbear plush in FNAF 4 is a thing that, like, even technically exists. Like, I don't think that when Dave's walking down the street, he sees it in the storm drain or in the flower, or it's even there, like, at all. Like, we don't even know necessarily if their house is next door to Fredbear's. That could just be showing that it's nearby. Like, I just think the games are very, very, very symbolic.
That's fair. How would you link that to Happiest Day then? With the not Happiest Day, FNAF 4 with the spooky eyes.
With the spooky eyes?
Yeah.
So FNAF World, basically anything in the games that is a game, I think I compare it to like Wreck-It Ralph, where I'm like they sort of exist in a spiritual way, which is why Shadow Bonnie can go from like one Happiest Day minigame to the other, because they're sort of like combined somewhere spiritually. He can glitch from one to the other. And so that's how characters in FNAF World, the line is, everything out there is infected here, but then at the same time you set up Happiest Day in FNAF World. And so it's sort of like, that's like the ghost world over there. I personally think the Fredbear plush in Sister Location, when you go into the side room and you see the bear sitting there and he has glowing eyes, I think the plush is possessed by Dave. He dies in bed holding the plush, and he's kind of like possessing that the way that Charlie possesses her little doll in the books in the Silver Eyes. And so, like, the identity of the bear in the FNAF 4 minigames doesn't really matter because it's just symbolic, as opposed to, like, Charlie is the bear speaking to Dave, or, his sister is the bear speaking to Dave. I just don't think that really matters.
When you mentioned the Silver Eyes, isn't it technically the case where, like, Charlie didn't possess the doll, but Henry spent so much time with the doll? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just trying
it was literally like one of the first forms of like an agony being.
Yeah.
Like in some type of.
You could look at it then with it being in William's office. You could have something maybe similar going on there with I know that kind of implies will care. Don't kill me, but you know what I mean. Like that he's holding on to it for sentimental reasons.
But Elizabeth was the goal. I tracked William under like the narcissistic parent kind of character profile, and we know Elizabeth was the golden child and Michael was the scapegoat. So for all intents and purposes, shouldn't Crying Child have been in like the quote the invisible kid, or maybe was it that Crying Child was the golden child and when Michael killed him, that's what made him like extra scapegoaty?
I just think William was kind of a bad guy.
But he can be a bad guy and also have like conflicting, like multiple feelings about multiple people. I'm not saying he was a good dad or anything like that, but he can have
definitely not
reactions to things.
I don't know what you're talking about. I thought he won Dad of the Year in 1983.
No, I fully agree. I'm not a Will Care. I get it, but like the reactions some people have when Will Care is brought up is crazy to me. Because like you'll be like, oh yeah, William is a terrible, awful dude and a terrible dad, but he might, in his own sickly way, care about his children. And people will be like, so you think abusers are good fathers? It's like, whoa, whoa,
exactly.
Someone is projecting.
He can be a bad guy and also have kids that he has.
Well, it would be a narcissistic attachment rather than actual.
Yeah,
It's almost
exactly.
like, these are my kids.
It's almost like people are complex and don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like William's a psychopath, and trying to analyze him to a rational, healthy family does not map very well.
Yep.
I'm gonna give us
My
a
cough
choice.
is getting worse, and now I'm shivering a ton. So I think I'm gonna go now. It was nice talking to you guys. Sorry to dip early.
No, you're good.
Have a good rest of the stream.
Great. Thanks so much for doing it. It was really nice.
Bye.
For today's
we're gonna wrap
stream,
up soon
ID's
anyway.
fantasy stood for illness debuffed fantasy.
That just read.
One last stray on the way out.
Yeah. For the
One
last
last stray,
topic,
yeah.
I will throw it up. I will give it I'll put it up in the air. Would we rather talk about the books or Midnight Motorist?
Midnight Motorist.
Midnight Motorist.
Anything other than the books. I talked about the books.
let's
don't-
talk
What about how the
about
books
Faz?
go
Let's talk
for
about
Midnight
some
Motorist?
dice.
Oh my god.
I could spread my gospel about Fright's games or Stitch
Terminal
games
error.
and Tails games or whatever. Let's do the Midnight
Alright.
Motorist.
I'll let underscore start. Underscore, you can start Midnight Motorist.
Midnight Motorist. Well,
I want to
let's
record
talk
this
about that.
on OBS. No, you
Go
can
ahead.
start.
Let's talk about that one game recently that might have done some crazy stuff for Midnight Motorist. It's called 5 Laps at
Terminal,
Freddy's.
you didn't have
and
to do
it
that.
did really just do stuff with its one map. Specifically, it
Terminal.
did 2 little things. It said, "Hey,
That actually
here's
means
the
the
Midnight Motorist
world to
car.
me.
It has a
Thank
little
you.
Spring Bonnie bauble on it. Maybe
Also,
it's
Terminal,
William. I
I'd
don't
love to
know."
work with you one day.
And then
by
it
the
also
way.
said in a bunch of its files, "Looks like you're running from the scene of a crime."
I will just die on the hill that if you think that Midnight Motor is anybody other than William, that you might, no
It's
offense,
cool,
might
but
not
there's
have
a
some critical thinking skills because
Still a
what
bit.
else would it be?
Green Afton.
I mean, long story short,
I was just gonna say, give me.
Yeah, no, that would be me.
Uh-oh.
I am in fact
You
100%.
roasted him.
100% in the camp that it's not William.
I was against it
and
being William
Green
before
Apple.
Flaf, but
My
come on.
Yeah,
my
Flap
falafel.
confirmed it.
I want to hear. I want to hear him out.
I don't think that the guys making Falaf have a lot of insight into Scott's intentions. He said that he didn't talk to the people making the Into the Pit game for over a year. He had all those problems talking to Steel Wool when they were making Security Breach.
Roblox game.
And, the Roblox game, with
Oh,
all that.
yeah.
There's a lot of communication. And the fact is, if you're the studio making 5 Laps at Freddy's and you open the encyclopedia and you flip to the page on Midnight Motorist and it's like, oh, some people believe that it is William driving here and doing this, which it does say in that official FNaF book. It also has the alternative theory where it's just the father of an MCI victim. But if you're the studio making it and you have an official FNaF book, you might be like, oh, that's canon, that's what's going on, and you put it into your unreleased beta demo thing, and that's kind of what I think happened. I just don't think that they have direct line to Scott learning the lore because the other studios did not.
I'll give you that. I really will give you that. That is a very good point.
My only response is that Flaf is very much after, it's several years after Security Breach, where Scott claims to have learned his lesson.
It's also after Help Wanted 2 when they very clearly got their game together.
You would also...
Yeah.
Sure.
And it
I will
also has
say-
the Murray-Co Easter egg now,
They do know the lore. They have Edwin Murray in there.
which is kind of weird.
You would
However,
really
there is one
think
big
if
problem.
that stuff was issues that it would be removed by now anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's a
what I was
problem
gonna
with
say. Is
that,
I feel like
though.
Scott, as shoddy as some of the quality assurances on some FNaF products, he does seem to have a hard line about what he does and doesn't necessarily allow. And with it being an anniversary release, as buggy as it might have been, or as kind of not polished because it was a beta, I feel like something to that degree would have been caught on his level. I will say as well, I don't think that all the evidence only comes from the Spring Bonnie bobblehead. The car in Midnight Motorist has tire covers on the ends, and it's the only car in the whole game, in the mini game section, that has those. And the sprite in FNAF 2 in the Save Him minigame has those same covers over the wheels. Obviously it's purple, and I think it's also narratively, we have a game about Charlie, we have a game about the MCI with Fruity Maze, and then we have this other minigame which we're not all really sure what it's about.
Fins were phased
but
out
as-
in the 1960s.
if it was going to be another game about a different MCI victim, I would just wonder what the relevance of that would be, especially to getting the full lore keeper ending. I feel like it would be strange to just give us this new character with new locations in a new setting that we don't get any really extra insight into, other than one of the victims of the MCI has this kind of bad life before they die. So unless it's like Cassidy or something and we're trying to set them up to be the one you should not have killed, that's kind of like my reasoning that it makes more sense to be Afton than to just be some random character who doesn't have much importance, especially with all like the juniors and the mound. It's like if none of those things are related to the character we're playing as, it feels a little bit strange.
Well, I think
I do agree.
I don't know why that doesn't apply to the Freddy May Susie minigame. Like, that's just an instance where we sort of see how William got one of his victims. She's upset by the dead dog, he walks over, lures her to the back. This would be the case where this kid has a bad home life. His dad is, a drunk who speeds and probably, beats him or something. And he looks out his window and he sees his favorite FNaF character. Oh my god, it's Spring Bonnie. He's there out his window. Come with me to Freddy's. His dad sees that the window's broken and goes, oh, he went back to that place again, his favorite place where he escapes my abuse, Freddy's. And that's one of the ways that William got one of the 5 victims. It lines up so perfectly with one of Toy Chica's high school year scenes.
It does.
She's like, I'm going to go to his house. I'm going to break a window.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think I would just argue that Susie's Fruity Maze minigame is a lot simpler and is a lot more straightforward. And I would then argue that it would be redundant to have 2 minigames showing us essentially the same thing. I feel like Midnight Motors are supposed to be telling us a new piece of information rather than being about. I will agree that the high school years is good.
Well, so the security puppet minigame, the security puppet minigame doesn't really tell us much more than save him in FNAF 2. Like, that's just kind of retreading old ground.
But it's
giving us
I wonder why it's even there.
Yeah, it's just
I would argue it's
it's
Charlie
right? It's FNAF 6 as a whole having a minigame for each person, not like never in this series before, right? Where it's like we have the minigame here, minigame here. I would say with the Toy Chica thing, I agree, and that is really good evidence. I guess I would just bring up the counter evidence of like, it's raining, the suits, do they function in the rain? And like every other time in the series, it's been, a child gets led into a back room during an active day at Freddy's. The only time we get this hint of William going to a child's house to kidnap them is this idea of Midnight Motorist, if that is what's happening here. And it's like, it seems really different from his methodology. It seems like, I don't know, it felt like up until that point, it would have, these are crimes of opportunity. It's, I just need a body who's nearby. So it seems weird to go out of his way to kidnap a specific child.
He seems a lot less rational than people think. I think some people think that this is like a plan. I think that the MCI was like a heat of the moment idea. Like,
well, how many days do we think the MCI took place over? Because we know that two of the kids were lured to the back on the same day, which was the day before he was caught. So that was the 26th or whatever. But how many days do we think between the first disappearance and then the last one where he gets caught?
I think it was over a week.
Like 4 to 5.
No, they all happened on the same night.
I'd bet it all happened on the same night. The
Cyanide.
newspapers are just slow.
Cryo.
Yeah,
in Toy Chica the high school years
is not the same as
the different lighting. Night. 2 of the Toy Chica high school years nights have different lighting on them.
Yeah,
that is odd.
It also it's the second article that says 5 disappearances have now been tied to Freddy's, whereas the first one just said 2 kids were lured to the back. So I always kind of interpreted that as 2 of them were on that last night and the other 3 were prior, at least by a day.
The way I kind of interpreted that was just like the way news works, in the idea of like, we had footage of 2 missing child incidents, so it's like, okay, we're looking for these 2 missing kids, and then like a few days later, some other missing persons reports get linked back because we didn't have the footage or evidence of them being lured, but like, well, 3 more kids are missing and they were known to go there, so now we're linking it to this case.
It's just the
I like that idea
about knowing what's the truth.
Well, to me, that just kind of makes me...
Like in real life.
It just makes me think that those 3 disappearances didn't physically happen in the Freddy's building.
Which is fair. Like, that's a fair interpretation. It's just that's where I would disagree.
No,
I think
I
I'm
disagree.
totally okay
because
with them
That's
happening.
not how missing
over-
children, missing people cases work. Because when you have a missing person case, if there's several people involved, the first people like start reporting that, oh, my family member has gone missing, and it's so they got those first 2 reports and they tied them to Freddy's, and they said, oh, okay, 2 kids went missing. But then as time went by, 3 more families reported that their kids also went missing, and that incident was tied to Freddy's. And when those 3 like showed up and reported like the kids that went missing, the newspapers updated their story. I don't think it was a
even
separate
says-
nights thing.
The newspaper even says now
3 more
linked to an
children.
incident on June 26th. It
Yeah, I
gives
think
no
the
other
wording-
date.
Wait.
The wording
so
is
that's the 5th one, right? The one that says 5 kids now linked to specific incident on specifically June 26th.
Yeah, there's no newspaper that gives any other date other than June
I mean,
26th, which would
then
be
me
weird if
being
there
a
were
fake
more
fan-
incidents.
That's 5 kids on June 26th.
Me being a
Yeah,
fake
well,
fan,
you-
I
you-
forgot that a date was mentioned in any of those
I
newspaper
did not
articles.
know.
Seriously?
I totally forgot.
This is
really
the first time I'm hearing of this, and I've read those several times.
You can argue about the wording of it, because you could say it's linked to the incident that we already talked about before, the one that happened on June 26th with the 2. And I'm totally fine with them all happening spread out. I don't necessarily think they all have to happen on one night. But my only thing would be that Follow Me being about the kids being lured back to the safe room and all being dismantled there, and then Henry saying he lured them all back to a familiar place, back with familiar tricks. That to me would imply that also like the revenge that they get on him by putting him into the spring bunny suit is sort of like a dramatic, no, not dramatic irony. Like it's his comeuppance occurs in the place that he killed them all. I think it's totally reasonable and fair to say that they happen over multiple nights, or even that some kids were taken to Freddy's, but I think they all had to have happened in the back room in Freddy's, whether or not it was all in the one night.
Oh, I certainly think
Yeah,
he
it
killed
does.
them all in that room.
Yeah.
I will say it specifically says the incident singular. I've pulled
Yeah,
up
but
the
linking
actual
to
article.
the-
Okay, it
Well,
says the incident.
Yeah, but linking to
Incident
the
singular, I
incident.
wouldn't say is strong evidence either way, because like
Yeah.
it's something that can happen over multiple days. If it's the same thing, it's still one incident.
Yeah,
It's still
Like,
the missing children's incident, but it could happen over a span of stuff. Like it could be that like the first one. I'm trying
You know
to
what?
think.
Speaking of what you have pulled up on stream right now, the mimic only has one secret.
What's that?
It's the
We'll have to
retcon.
figure out.
One retcon.
We'll have
Yeah.
to figure out
retcon.
on June
So-
6, 2025, or whatever the fuck.
April
date?
Here's a
first. I don't know.
It's not confirmed, but it was 4/6/25,
1st.
so people were like, release date, which like fair.
I mean, what else is it supposed to be?
I think
My,
with
my
this
only
server, you
hesitation is
found
that's a
something
Sunday,
interesting
and that's
about
super weird for a
that.
FNaF game.
That's true.
I think
Did you
with
see,
Russell, you found an interesting piece of information about that particular number, didn't you?
Me.
About, like what it relates
Oh
to.
yes, it was me. It's the 4/6/25 thing that it could be the release
Yeah.
date, but I changed my mind since then. I don't think it's the release date anymore. I think it's the date of the trailer, of the main trailer that's gonna.
Ooh, I
come
can
out.
Oh, so we gotta wait. We
Yes.
gotta wait forever.
Isn't it also the founding of Fazbear Entertainment?
Yeah, it was founding
What?
of Fazbear Entertainment or
April
something like that.
6th,
Someone said that.
79. It
was-
shows in the FNaF movie.
Wait,
I forgot to tell you this.
wait.
Let me explain.
wait,
Let me
why does
explain.
that
Let
relate?
me explain. Let me explain. So, in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, when Mike Schmidt beats up the guy at the beginning of the movie in the mall, when he goes to like legal stuff after beating up the guy, the interrogation, whatever, the date that happens is 4/6/2000. 4/6.
Oh, when he's
Keep that
at
number in mind.
Matthew, or it's not Matthew Laird's. When he's at
Yeah,
Steve
yeah, yeah.
Ragland's office.
Steve Ragland's.
You're telling me that
2/5.
is
Date?
4/6/20 or 2000.
Yes.
Whoa.
Now, in the
Interesting.
document that we can see in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, Fazbear Entertainment is stated to have been founded in 4/6/79. And now
What
in
the
Secret of the
heck?
Mimic, we see 4/6/25. 4/6 is American dating system. Give me a second.
April.
The 6th
April
of
6th.
April. The 6th of April, which is the day that Fazbear Entertainment was founded in 1979, which is when Secret of the Mimic takes place, which means that we are
do
getting
we know
something
this?
major on that day in the real world.
Trailer.
Okay,
That
okay.
Trailer
is
says 1979.
Yeah.
You would definitely have Fazbear Entertainment founded, like, okay, if you look at the plot of The Mimic, and I know that jumps into books, If you think that plot actually happens in I got one guy saying yay. Anyways, if you think that actually happens in any semblance in the games, which I would implore you to do, you're gonna have Fazbear at least founded before 78, and probably quite a bit before that. So, you know what? I like your idea that 46 is the founding date. What year? Who knows? Sometime before 78, or sometime sometime definitely before 78. But that's cool. I did not know any of that.
That is interesting.
I'm actually to say that the Secret of the Mimic definitely takes place in 1979 because apparently there's like classic costumes in the demo, right? Or
was I the only person here that was at PAX?
I know a few people that were that spoken to me personally.
I didn't even make videos.
We are going to try to go
August.
All right, I want to see all y'all pulling up.
I couldn't make it to that PAX. I made it to Help Wanted 2's PAX.
Well, anyways, what were you wondering from the demo or something?
It was that there was like an early coming soon poster for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
You can picture the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza from, I think it's unused in Security Breach, but it's from the Security Breach files. That poster, it is grayed out and it has big coming soon in red text over it.
See, that's weird to me if it takes place in 79 because like it opens in 83. We know that for a fact because of the Help
That's
Wanted
not
tokens.
soon. That's so funny. That is definitely not soon.
That's what I mean. It's 4 years away. Like that's why I would think it might take place later. And 79 is important to the Secret of the Mimic.
Yeah, maybe the secret is in 79, but the gameplay's in 83.
You could have a bunch of crap happen at the factory that's unfortunate enough to delay Freddy's opening. Like maybe, but that's just a prediction. Like, Mimic tears up a bunch of Freddy's animatronics. They can't open for a few years, maybe.
Yeah, I suppose. You could also argue that, like, that's why there's, like, a lot of Freddy Fazbear's merch, but there's no restaurant in FNAF 4.
Yeah.
All right, now that we're on this, to wrap up the stream, why don't we all give our thoughts, predictions, hopes for Secret of the Mimic? And I'll let Nero Raven start. I'll let Raven start, and then we'll go from top to bottom or something. I don't know. Raven, go ahead.
Oh boy. So, okay, what I'm hoping that we get out of Secret of the Mimic is obviously like a full-fledged answer with like the connection with Tiger Rock, Mimic, all that in the games itself, as well as any further like appearances of maybe other characters that would be connected to the Mimic from the books if we are getting anything with like David, Edwin, or really anyone else, in a way of connecting that to like the whole Fazbear Entertainment thing. And I also want something to do with Cassie's the Bonnie mask. I am hoping for something with that, and I'm also hoping for something with the gifts and the mask, because I did see someone point out that it is interesting you can get gifts and masks at this location, which if you think about it, you give gifts and the gifts that you're giving is masks, and I think it was just give gifts, give life. So I'm hoping we get maybe an answer as to why William did what he did later on. That's my stuff.
Which is like an origin story kind of thing?
That's what I'm kind of thinking, origin story. Kind of for like everything.
That would be interesting. I don't know if Scott would have like the... I don't think he'll ever give us too much information about why Afton operates the way he does. I don't think we'll ever get... Like, when I was a child, I went to a singing bear show. Sorry, Matt.
When I was a child,
Afton daddy issues.
Yo,
motorist flashback.
All right, Jojo, how about you?
Oh no! Oh, about William or just
no, just Secret of the Mimic. Hopes, dreams.
No. I'm kind of scared for Secret of the Mimic. I'm gonna be so honest. This is either going to solve a lot of problems or create a whole lot of new problems.
Bit of both.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping it'll give us answers as to like why they made the writing decisions they did. I just like concerned if they do it like in a quote incorrect manner that it might mess things up, because right now they really did a good job of damage control with Security Breach, and I really enjoy the way they've taken the story and taken what was a hodgepodge of lore tidbits and like forward pushed it in Ruin and Help Wanted 2. but I'm very worried that they're going to introduce the Mimic, and it's going to be like, how many of you guys have seen Steven Universe?
I watched a decent amount of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had a good song in there.
At all.
Can I spoil something from the movie?
Go for it.
Go off.
Yeah.
Chat,
Okay.
if you're a big Steven Universe fan, mute, I guess.
If you haven't seen the movie, leave now. But basically, like, one big thing that they do is they introduce this character named Spinel, and it turns out she had just been like trapped for like 6,000 years on a planet, and Steven's mom had just like left her there. And so it was basically like this hindsight of, oh my god, she was just sitting there by herself the entire time for like 6,000 years. And so I'm really scared what they're gonna do is basically be like, oh yeah, the Mimic's just been boarded up in the back room for the entire timeline. And I'm so worried that they're gonna try and do that instead of.
I mean, so was
like,
Henry, realistically.
Yeah. I will die on the hill that Henry.
William was
on vacation.
for 30
Hey,
years.
don't even get me started on
I
Edwin,
agree.
dude.
I agree.
My name is
Everyone to
Edwin. Gibby, how about you, man?
I kind of hope that it sticks to its own lane and it kind of just continues the story and the characters and the narrative that we've been having in the Steel Wool era. Like, I really don't want it to retcon all the earlier Scott games and introduce a character like the Mimic or a character like Edwin to then walk in and be like, I was the most important person the entire time. I think that would feel kind of fake to like long-term fans, especially since like we know that Scott isn't writing every single word of these games. It would kind of feel kind of silly. I hope that the next game we get after this will kind of wrap up the Pizzaplex era. You know, we'll get a conclusion because we got to conclude Gregory, we got to conclude Vanessa, and you know now we have a
We're not sure if Cass is alive or not.
Yeah,
where
like
do we even
Cassie,
go
wherever
after the Mimic, though? Like, what even happens after the Mimic? They don't have another
in the future or something.
villain.
Phase 3, yeah.
Freddy in Space
So I
57.
just-
Yeah, it would be arc 3.5 if you count Fishline as the middle.
Mrs. Afton
bell.
comes back.
Either a reboot or more prequels.
No, go like
I don't think we
1,000
can go
years
past
in the
the future.
future. And
Underscore, how about you?
Time skip. Woo.
A FNaF
Underscore.
Fazbear 2099. Ooh, I wouldn't even mind.
Yeah, give me FNaF
I'd watch
20XX,
/
please.
play / whatever.
But yeah, I hope that the game after this will conclude that story. So I hope that this one kind of answers a lot of questions we have. So like going into the big finale game, I want this to be like Sister Location, where it gives us all the backstory. We're kind of all ready to go into the finale.
I think we'll get a lot
finale
of
can then
stuff.
be
Yeah.
awesome.
I would
I think we'll get a lot
love.
of
Hope
it.
so.
I would love.
Biggest-
Like,
Biggest
some
prediction:
sort of-
I do not think it's going to settle the book discussion at all. I do not think it will move
Oh,
the needle either way.
Most likely not.
I agree. I think they're going to keep that ambiguous because that is such a huge talking point.
Remember back to like the Scott wouldn't tell us what the fucking Sister Location suit was.
Yeah, if he
So
does
this is a
it'll
way
be-
bigger debate.
It'll be like on an anniversary interview. Way after the books are no longer
in 90
relevant.
years, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When the books, no one's asking about them, he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you know those books? Here's the answer."
No, he's
Bro,
gonna
that
give
was
us a
so
troll
many
answer.
years
Like,
ago.
He's
on
going to his
deathbed.
grave with it.
He's gonna give us a troll answer on his deathbed.
I just hope
He's going to make
that
sure his
before
last
he dies-
words are "the books are," and then die.
That one meme, of the frog.
That is correct. Flatline.
Chocolate gorilla belts.
I hope that Scott goes through one day, and even if it's not what was currently intended, if he goes, okay, this is where I was originally intended, this is not canon anymore, but this is where I was originally thinking. I wish he would just tell us that. Like, come on, tell us, well, this is what it was originally going to be. Not anymore.
Lamau the box.
The box.
Yeah, I want
to be
Scott to
honest,
tell us what
the
his
box
retcons are.
infuriates me.
I mean, I'm sure it was originally something. I'm sure he had an idea of what was in it, but then he was like, "No, I don't know what's in here."
Whatever was in it is
The Foxy
also
mask.
changed.
No,
over
I
the
don't
years.
think it's that he forgot what's in it. I think he just he
it's not
doesn't
relevant
see a
anymore.
good way to introduce it, and it's not relevant enough to force
Anymore,
it.
yeah.
Well, no, because on his first interview with Daco, like back when Ultimate Custom came out, he
He
said
did say
that
it changed.
Yeah, he said it changed like multiple times.
I
So
think it always the items though. I think it always represented the same thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, he said the
point is,
meaning of the
whatever
item
whatever it
changed.
is
He didn't say-
changed. So it's like he probably doesn't even know what to do with it anymore.
I mean, yeah, that's what he said.
Because that's back in the last
it's
era.
so different from what it was.
Didn't he say back then it was the pieces put together?
You're
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can think
There
about
was
that
some
metaphorically
solution.
or literally. Or
My guess to what happened with the box was it was going to confirm something he couldn't take back and realized he had to walk back a little bit on and retool some. And then the box kept changing. At a certain point, what he had changed to was so far from that original box reveal and what the box even meant. It's like, what's the point anymore? You guys got the bit. You got the gist. Let's move on.
All right, underscore, what are your hopes?
Dude, so as the other 90s Fantasy who left, as the only person who saw or who was actually at the demo, that thing was freaking sick, and I genuinely do hope that we're gonna love it. I think we're gonna love it as a game. I hope the game pacing is great, but it is visually stunning. Okay, but in terms of lore stuff, dude, it won't solve the book debate, no, as if the Tiger plushie Help 1 and 2 didn't already, but it should definitely have some really good stuff for the start of the timeline. I would really hope that you maybe see something about William. Now, someone said they thought they would never elaborate on this. I would at least hope that you would see something about William understanding the mimic, and that is maybe the start of learning about possession, sort of the agony infused into the mimic. That'd be
that would be cool. I just meant like why he wants possession in the first place. I don't think he'll have like a motive. I don't think he'll ever get a motive. Context is fine.
Other than that, two big things I'd love to see happen, which I think one of them is out in the wild, and the other could happen. One, let's see the origins of Mexus. Let's see that thing get made in this game.
God, I want to know what it stands for.
That'd be so cool.
Can you imagine?
Let's see them make Mexus in that game and see the origins of that. But second, as more of my just hopes and dreams, based on, I think you could pick up some elements from Help 1 and 2, let's see some sister location in an unexpected way.
Oh, I would love that.
Deep underground where memories.
Let's see that elevator used in a lot more than just Princess Quest 4.
Hey, those costumes were underground too.
I think that's what I'm looking forward to. Let's see some interesting stuff.
All right, I'll go. I know Gibby said he does not want them to kind of fuck with the timeline from the previous era. I'm afraid it's gonna happen because Steel will really, really loves that. Oh, guys, we're in security breach. Look, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. Guys, we're in Help 1 and 2. Look, the elevator from sister location. So I think we are going to see Fredbear somewhere. If it's a secret ending. Or any of that, I think it's going to happen. I don't think we'll see the FNaF 4 house. I don't think that's ever getting elaborated on more. But I do think that we will see either the actual diner or a lot of context around it being created.
You know, it'd be cool, even just in passing, if we just saw a younger version of Michael from 4 just run by.
That would be so cool.
God,
just a Foxy mask.
Any in-game models of any of the characters of this goddamn franchise.
Even
it's an actual Michael
game or something. I don't know.
We can have
William after 3D model. Ooh.
Exactly.
He's just purple.
Please.
That'd be so stupid.
He's just a purple guy.
He just is purple, and they never touch on it, and everyone accepts it.
It's blocky and everything.
Or he's always in the shadows, so you never see his face. But
He's
see,
always
silhouette.
holding one hand outward.
He's completely yellow.
He has a phone.
All right, Rytos, what about you?
Like that was already said, it definitely feels like we're building to a culmination because we have Help Wanted to introduce Vanessa, and Security Breach to introduce Gregory, and Ruin to introduce Cassie, Help Wanted 2 to tease some of the Mimic and introduce some of the other aspects of this situation. Secret of the Mimic feels like it's our game to introduce properly the Mimic, right? We got the teaser and Ruin. This is going to teach the non-book reading game franchise fans, hey, this is what the Mimic is. So my main hope is that like that was already said, the game after it is the culmination. Everyone's been established, all the pieces have been set in the stage. Now we can have the show.
Avengers Mimic War.
Exactly. As far as the game itself goes, I just hope it's scary. I really hope it's scary. And
You're fighting a battle.
I mean, I can say at least it was scary in VR. Having her chase you was freaky. It was crazy.
It's totally
Flat mode, I'm not sure, but it had some intense moments.
That's another thing. I pray on my knees that it is a just as compelling as an experience in flat mode. because I
Yes.
think part of the reason why there wasn't as much hype around Help Wanted 2 was not only did it only release in VR, but when flat mode eventually came like 7 months later, it was like, oh, this is a lesser experience.
Yeah.
So
You should definitely hope, based on them co-developing them, that they will have it tuned for both experiences.
Yeah, that gives me hope that it's releasing at the same time, because I do really, it's got to be accessible to non-VR fans, or else it's just not going to have that.
It should be releasing
impact.
on both at the same time.
And then as far as like lore-wise, oh god, it's just like a blueprint that says what the name of Mexus is, because I'm just gonna lay in the street if we still after 2 games don't know what the acronym Mexus is.
Surely it's mimic something.
It's like mimic, and then like X could be like extrapolate.
Shout out my first ruin theory on it, where I said it was marionette experiment enshroudment system.
Oh, hey, you know what?
It's in the puppet's box. It's in the puppet's box.
Hey, that brings up another perfect.
I'm at
one
the theme.
They better
Sorry, go
talk about one thing in this game. They better finally reveal it instead of YouTube baiting the whole time. Where's Nightmarion? What's going on there? You better solve it on this
Just
one.
keep giving us our plushies. No,
because like,
oh yeah, they have been putting that everywhere.
It definitely feels like we're seeing the way Steel Wool does storytelling versus how Scott, because like Scott did storytelling in the original games by like just throwing a bunch of shit at the wall so that like 2 games later he can be like, oh, this is now foreshadowing, and like that's how you tell an ongoing story. That's like just what you do. But it feels like these Steel Wool era games, it's been a bit more planned out, where like there is shit that just doesn't make sense right now because the answers will come later. And God, I hope we get some. Number 1, Nightmarion plushes. Number 2, the 2, 4, 5 tally marks. What the hell are those?
I built the breath, that one as well.
Yeah, there was
that one as well.
So much stuff from Security Breach just never got. I feel like a lot of that was already supposed to be clear by now, but the way it was executed and communicated,
I
was
don't think so.
Done well.
I think they specifically, because Scott said like he was telling them to put stuff places, but wasn't saying why. And I think it was specifically like, here, this is gonna blow people's minds 4 or 5 years out the line.
In a few years,
like, like here's something that is not going to make sense, and then like 4 games later, we're gonna go, oh shit, and go back to Security Breach.
Except this time it was actually planned out.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope it happens.
Well, here's one thing that I hope.
Decomposing Soda, I agree. Sammy CEO confirmation in Secret of the Mimic. That's true.
Sammy CEO. All right, Unwithered. Go ahead.
So again, repeating, what other people were saying. I hope that we get some sort of allusion to the early years. I think
illusion.
Illusion?
Hey.
No, I would love it if this game is its own thing, is about, because it's going to be about the Mimic, I think sometimes we get too excited about it being set so early that we're like, it's going to solve like Midnight Motorist, and it's like, it probably won't, because it's not got anything to do with that. It's narratively.
Yeah, I don't think
but
it'll do that.
What I would love is one answer to something, or even just an appearance from someone like a William or Michael or something, or Bite Victim, and have them on screen or on a phone call or something, giving us an answer and then going away, so that the Mimic can't touch it. It can't be that the Mimic was the one who did the DCI or something like that. I don't want it to interact with the other lore. I just would like something at this stage. I think it'll be a wasted opportunity if we don't get some sort of like William or Henry or something like that. If we don't get some sort of hints or answers about the past in this time period, it'll feel like a bait. It'll feel like they went, oh, we're going to do this flashback game, and then you get absolutely nothing from it. But I think I don't want the Mimic story to actually now be woven into the past, because I don't want to make theories that are like, in FNAF 4, this Mangle toy is because the Mimic is actually mimicking the future. I don't want to go into that.
Pink guy is the Mimic.
Understand, the red dot in the camera is the Mimic learning. Every game has a Mimic.
This is just the new version of that old
thing.
No,
it's the theory.
I'm just now realizing that Mimic one where it's like, he was there the whole time, he's the red dot in the camera. That's just the evolution of Ennard was there the whole time, he's the wires in like FNAF 1, 2, and 3.
Ennard inside of him.
It's just the same thing.
He entered inside of him, dog.
You got Ennard inside of him, dog.
Ennard inside.
I think
This is purple
Yeah,
guy's
gameplay-wise,
son, man.
We got son.
But yeah, I think gameplay wise,
This
you
is
know,
for
they're
one
obviously
of
going
the
free roam
finest
again.
Stop.
I would like a more like atmospheric experience. You know, I think Security Breach is really cool, like design wise and like visually. But I think it's not what I find appealing about FNAF. I like the kind of the dingy, the strange, the the uncanny. So I think it would be nice to get a little bit more of that like grounded feel back, especially in an environment you can explore. From what I've heard from the demo, it sounds like they might be going in that direction.
I think we'll get
but I
that.
just love like background details. Yeah.
I like the idea of.
It was so fun.
I mean, people have made the Poppy Playtime connection, and like I would like a more Poppy Playtime adjacent FNAF game, to be honest. Something where we're exploring in a more linear based horror established area.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it, that's what Scott wants to do.
Yep.
I
I,
sure
hope
hope
it's
so.
not. Like, I enjoyed the minigame style of Help Wanted 1 and 2, and I know that's kind of how they had the menu set up. I hope it's not exclusively that. Like, I hope it's linear, similarly to Ruin was linear and not just like a little.
You know,
I hope
honestly, I'm gonna be a
figured he
little
should be able
sad
to
if
lessen
there's no. I'm gonna be a little sad if there's no like replayable free roam kind of functionality. Like, it's cool to have the linear. Ruin did it amazingly, but not having that free roamness at the end, like Security Breach does take a little bit away from.
Yeah, I agree.
It might be like might be like a kind of a Soulsborne-y style, like where
Like-
you open up the map as you go.
Yeah,
I'll
like
be
Security
disappointed
Breach.
if there isn't a classic FNAF mode somewhere in this game. I still
Yeah.
don't know why there wasn't one in
Office
Security Breach.
gameplay.
Like
Yeah,
a
closed
traditional
doors.
office gameplay. Why didn't they do that for Security Breach? Like, yes, there was those like.
I mean, they
segments,
tried.
but like, I swear, if Security Breach launched with a main menu like survival tab, and you just click that, and it just puts you in one of the rooms, and you just do a FNAF style game in Security Breach's Pizzaplex, that everyone would have loved the game way more when it came out.
Oh, you know the cameras from the demo? There was like 9 cameras in the waiting line. If those cameras became an actual camera night system, that would be cool. You probably know what I'm talking about. I think that's one of the only things that we were able to show from the demo.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that.
Those were some cool cameras. They had shadows in them. Like, you could see shadows of characters, but you couldn't see the character in some of those cameras. So that might be interesting.
I have mentioned, I do kind of hope it's, if I had to pick a game that I would want it to emulate, I kind of hope it would emulate Amnesia: The Bunker. And if anyone hasn't played that game, it's a survival horror game, but the map structure is like, you start in the one area and the exit's here, but you need like 5 things to collect to build something to access the exit. And there's one in each of 5 adjoining areas. So you can go to those areas in any order and do what you have to, but then you come back to the center to like your hub to escape. Something similar to that, I think, would really benefit this style.
Yeah, especially with like the playground that you're in of a warehouse or a factory. Like, you have so many interesting ideas and locations. Like, you could go to a whole room with just costumes, and there's like one the mimics like getting into different costumes and stuff like that. You could do loads of different stuff with it. So like having the choice to go to whichever one is your favorite first, or like exploring and going, oh, I'll go back to that one later, could be so cool.
We absolutely need an adaptation of like the events in the epilogues of the Tales epilogues, and I don't mean like that. I mean, like, we need our player to go into a costume room at least once where we don't know which of these costumes, but one of them is the mimic hiding, and we need to play cat and mouse like that, because that was one of the coolest things from those epilogues.
I had a script I wrote that was supposed to be what in the book should have been games, and that was the top of the list.
Yep. Yeah,
GGY,
it's
probably.
such cool gameplay.
I mentioned GGY should have been a like Life is Strange style simple game, just walking around a Pizzaplex. And then the epilogues were like, this should have been a small FNAF game after like Security Breach, maybe. Just like a quick 1 hour, 2 hour experience.
Too gory, Scott, whatever.
True.
Do you know how quick a big team like Steelwool would be able to get out a classic FNAF style game? Like, I don't know why there's not one of those every year.
That's
right?
actually kind of funny. They'd be able to make it so quickly.
All I'm
Compared
saying
to
is,
Scott's like 4
I
months,
mean,
right?
even Scott made him in 4
How-
months. Yeah.
a true
actually-
remaster of the games.
Man with a Plan, Metroidvania, that would be peak.
Metroidvania.
I was gonna
Metroidvania
say, how
horror
would you-
game. That would be
FNaF survival horror Metroidvania. Who are you playing as?
Really
Metroidvania
stacked.
is my
Young
favorite
Michael
horror
Afton,
game.
dude.
He's going around with like a
Metroidvania would be my
controlled
dream.
shock.
I love
I
Metroidvania.
was,
Playing as Mikey
was
Afton
thinking about
hiding in
this-
the Foxy mask.
Can we argue that Security Breach is a Metroidvania?
yeah, I think so. I think it's
I
like
think that's
intended to be like that.
on the smallest scale possible, yes.
Yeah, like a really,
Yeah.
really technically a Metroidvania.
Just like there's roguelikes there and roguelites, this is a Metroidvania light.
Bruh.
It's a Metroid kinda, yeah.
How about you, Cryonide? What do you think, Cryo?
What I
Secret
want
of the
from Secrets of the Mimic.
What is his
So-
secret?
So my big thing is I want them to try and like not lean too far into like the origins of like William and Henry and all these characters, because if you start introducing like the Mimic into those, it's just gonna screw with everything that we've already known, and people are gonna try to fit the Mimic into everything that it doesn't belong in with like the original games. I want it to kind of stick in its own lane. I want
They already
Steel-
are.
Yeah, it'll get a lot worse. I want Steelbolt to try and finish up their own story, because that's what they've been doing. They've been
Mhm.
setting it up for a while. One big thing I want to know how the Mimic ended up getting sealed to where it is in Ruin, because we really don't know
I'm
how
sure
it got
we'll get
sealed.
that.
Boy, do I have a video for you.
That's what I want to know. What ended up
Famous
happening?
plugging.
I'm not joking. I'm going to send you my video because it's just that in a video.
Yeah, you can
form.
put it in the party room chat if you want.
Oh, goody.
All right. How about Withered Circle?
There's
Okay. It's kind of just a mixture of what everyone has already said, but first off, the thing I want the most from Secret of the Mimic is answers. Because if that secret doesn't mean
Answers.
anything, it's gonna be a bit of a waste. No, I'm genuinely just hoping for like a game that is playable. I like some linear elements, so it's kind of similar to Ruin. I like the direction of Ruin, but I also want a little bit of like elements of the open world that Security Breach had, some of the interactability that you had with the world in both Help Wanted games, kind of just like a mix of everything that Steelwall has gotten right. And if they nail that kind of combination, and if they manage to tie it into the lore, which I feel like they can now that Scott has learned his lesson, if they manage to do all of that, it's going to be a perfect FNAF game. And
I
that's
agree.
basically, I don't have huge expectations. I know that what I want personally, lore-wise, will probably not appear, and that's fine. I just want a good game in all aspects that will make it a good FNAF game.
Steel has been getting better like every time since Security Breach.
Yeah, they've been getting better.
All right, Sire Squawks. Will the Mimic finally confirm Fright's fiction?
He wrote all the books himself. He was really working on it.
He mimicked Goosebumps. He mimicked R.L. Stein.
Probably not. Honestly, on the topic of the books and the Mimic, I just
no.
want more official art of stuff because, you know, I do my little FNAF fan card game I run in my Discord, and I have to draw so many of the forms of the Mimic. I'm putting them in the call chat, some of the art. I've done it. I've had to make all of these and either draw or make sprite art of these characters. And I'm like, I like making my art and stuff, but I kind of want some official models of a lot of these concepts and moments.
I love your art, by the way, Squawks. I just
this is
it's so
hard.
Nice. You should draw my
It
cat.
goes really hard, yeah.
I'm not joking. Like, just draw my cat as somebody draw my cat as the Mimic real quick. I need that.
I am endlessly furious that we have graphic novels of all of these Fazbear Frights books, but not one of the epilogues, which are the only fucking important ones.
In that
Yeah,
same
seriously.
in that same script about stuff that should have been games, I mentioned that the Stitch Ray Stingers should have been comics. Imagine a comic series covering that
That'd be
arc.
huge.
It's the perfect pace.
That'd be cool.
Every epilogue is roughly the length of a comic issue.
I'll do it. I'll make it.
Save us.
Actually, I shouldn't accept that. It's my senior year right now, and I have so many projects. I have
Okay.
3. I have 2 plushie Kickstarters, a hair claw Kickstarter that we're about to relaunch, and then also like my actual senior projects and stuff for my degree. So maybe I should wait until after I
Come back
graduate.
to this in a couple years, because we
like
do
what?
need that.
Get your
Okay,
priorities
wait.
straight. Drop out of
I
college.
graduate. I graduate
Oh yeah.
in a year, and then. Oh yeah, I could do it. I could do it over this. No, I'm doing an internship over this.
Oh.
JoJo's gonna do it. JoJo's gotta gotta do it in between graduating and getting married. There we go. We'll figure it out.
Simply become a NEET and have free time.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm like a year and a half away from being a housewife. I'm so close to being done with adulting. I'm almost free. Me, my cat, my dog, and my 5 Nights at Freddy's. That's all I need.
All right, guys. Well, that's gonna Rye Toast. Have you heard of Lefty DCI? Rye Toast, Lefty DCI. Have you heard?
Right toast. It's Lefty DCI time. Right toast.
All roads lead to DCI.
You know, Rye Toast saw 14. Dude, someone spoiled it.
When we were leading into like, what do we want to hear in Secret of the Mimic? I was sat here for like a solid 8 minutes with a piece of paper and a pen, trying to make 4625 turn into 14 for a bit, and I couldn't.
That's so funny.
Wait, you
Just
left
do,
DCI?
He doesn't know what it is. Crying I'd go.
I
refuse.
We've been here for 3 hours.
DCI possessed anything. I refuse to believe the DCI possessed anything.
I gotta finish that video
Watch
soon.
Cryo's video, right?
Watch the 7-hour stream.
I have to finish that follow-up video soon, man.
It's very good. I genuinely, even though I'm affiliated with these people, they are definitely not holding me at gunpoint. I highly recommend you watch this video. It is genuinely a very good video. And I think
That's what someone being held at gunpoint would say.
In the voice call. I just kind of saw that TDread and Cryo were online, and they were like, guys, you're not gonna believe what we made. And then I watched. I was like, this is BS. There's no way. And then I watched the video, and I was like, huh? Hello?
It's coming.
Kind of how it happened with 14.
I'll put it in the
so good.
VC
I
chat.
genuinely
Hang on.
to watch it.
There were 14 lefties,
Checked in on Chun for a while.
but only one DCI.
Yeah, 14 theory is something
to you was
different from this.
hilarious.
What did I do?
The way you reached out to me was hilarious.
Oh, I sent you a fucking hypnosis emote and went, "You will join my podcast."
Yeah, in my comment section on a random UCN video.
I think the rest of you,
your thumbnail is referring to the Vor Fazbear Frights book. That's crazy.
It's not, by the way. That's an actual line from Lefty.
That's a quote.
Lefty
quote
says
from
that
Lefty.
in UCN.
Okay, I did not know that. I forgot.
Makes you wonder if William
No,
will
David
left.
Murray getting
But what if now?
Every now and then Scott puts something out, and I think of that one meme where it's the Twilight Zone. This episode, the writer's barely disguised fetish. I'm like, why haven't Vor so often in your story, Scott?
No, yeah.
Why do so many children turn into things?
That is a recurring theme.
Why is every female villain whispering in my ear when I play your video game, Scott?
Everyone watch the fake Fazbear Fright Stories video.
Yeah, well, when's part 2 to that coming out?
Dude, I gotta lock in to edit that one because the first one did really good.
In the FNaF TCG?
Hey, Husky solved it. 4 times 6 minus 2 times 5 equals 14. We got that.
Oh my god.
There it is.
Prepare for the horror.
I love how that has
so
become a
obvious,
meme.
too.
Dude, did you see FNaF Twitter the day we made this?
Dude, I
Yes.
literally
It was just 14s everywhere.
I am so
14,
happy with
dude.
it too. Like
They
the
invested
fact-
Rise
Collect my
chat.
14 missing children.
The 14.
Oh, trust me, we've gotten to 14 with all of William's murders. We found it everywhere.
Yeah.
No, it's just the Slender Man. Collect my 14 missing children.
Collect my 14.
Collect my children.
Wait, this is so
My name
hated.
is William Afton. Find my children.
Oh, I found another one the other day in Pizzeria Simulator. At the start, there's 3 kids, then 5 kids, then 5 kids, and then the last kid is when Shadow Freddy starts glitching everywhere.
14th
And it's on
14th kid.
and it's 1400 points that you're trying to reach and you can't get it.
God
Of course,
damn
it's
it,
1400
Scott.
Also, another thing, I said this to you, T-Dread, and you told me to shut up right away afterwards.
TDread bullying? No. What?
I would never antagonize anyone.
So, and I was like, let's go looking through all the FNaF
Well,
games
elaborate.
for any 14s, right? And then I went to Sister Location, and I looked at the FNaF 4 dots, and there were specifically 14 dots throughout the maps of the FNaF 4 location. and then you told me to shut up instantly.
Jesus.
The break room.
Have we considered 2, 4, and 5 being the mystery numbers of security breach, and 2 times 5 is 10 plus 4 is 14? Have we
Huh. Should we all just make like one major 14
Scott was trying to
video?
tell. That's what
crying child.
Scott was trying to explain 14 theory to Steelwool, but it was too big brained, so they just like burned.
They just couldn't understand it.
How many
I was telling you to put
Nightmare on
specific
plushies are there?
14s in specific places.
How many Nightmare on plushies are there?
How many are there? How many Nightmare
How many
Would you
are
believe
there?
me if I told you? Would you believe me if I told you William Afton has 14 letters?
Oh my
gosh!
You shouldn't believe it because that's not true. It's 12.
That's 12.
That's 12.
Wait a minute.
How dare you?
I didn't say it was true. I said, would you believe me?
I would.
I would. You're right, Toast.
Period question mark.
If you count the space in between and after.
The vengeful spirit is 14 letters.
The full stop.
The fact that Ritos is
Vengeful
actually
Spirit's
making
14
jokes
letters?
about my theory is amazing.
You coming up with 14 theory is insane.
It is. Vengeful
Where?
Spirit is 14
Is there a
letters.
video on? Is there a video on 14 theory I can
Yes,
go
on
watch?
my channel.
There's several.
Yeah, it's on Narrow
Oh my
Ravens.
How dare you
Okay.
not be subscribed
Don't
to
worry.
me?
No, you don't have to.
Okay,
watch the
wait.
7-hour
This one's
one.
legitimate.
I am subscribed to you. I
Wait.
just haven't been watching YouTube.
This one's legitimate. Elizabeth Afton does have 14 letters in it. I will say that.
He's Golden Freddy. I knew it.
Would be the final victim, wouldn't she? On the timeline.
What?
I mean, depending on the timeline, wouldn't she be the final victim? Like I said, depending.
Depending on the timeline.
Depending on the timeline.
Elizabeth Afton
genuinely
is the
think
Not
one
my
you should not
timeline,
have
but I can
killed.
see it.
Yeah.
I will make you.
I think she
proud,
might even be
Freddy.
before the MCI.
Older
I
interpretation.
think she's before the
yes.
MCI, definitely.
Go back to the time.
Anyone-
When did I do that? When did I do that baby impression that freaked everybody out?
Wait, you have a baby
It was on
impression?
our first podcast.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh, my
wanna
favorite one
do
is like, I wonder what a freshly opened pint of ice cream would
That's not
feel
bad.
about something with that
What?
name.
That's good.
That
It's
good.
called.
It's unsettling.
It's because, dummy, it's the room they keep the scooper. I want to be a cartoon supervillain so bad.
When
Polio.
does the term vengeful spirit come from the game? So did like the fandom just make that up?
That's,
On
casting.
voice acting.
It's the
Yeah.
voice of casting.
Okay, because I hate to inform you again. This one is legitimate. Vengeful
Vengeful
spirit
Spirit
is
It
14
is 14
letters.
letters.
Yeah.
Oh my
Chat's been
God.
matching that. Chat's been matching
Okay.
it.
I think I might be
Okay,
pregnant
I have-
with my
14 theory is real.
child.
I have another revelation for you guys.
Oh my
No.
god.
The one you shouldn't have killed is 14 letters.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
It's
Yeah.
7 words,
No
though.
shot.
The one you should not have
How many
killed
letters
is
is-
7 words, though.
And 7 times 2 is
Yeah,
14.
it
So
is.
there were 2
Oh,
you shouldn't
7.
have killed.
Oh.
Cassidy and
Nobody
Cassidy
has a
Andrews
list
is
for
14
how
letters.
many Nightmare on plushes are in security breach. I've been looking for
Look,
like
if
5
there's
There is-
14,
Okay, there's not 14. There's like 4 or 5.
There's more than that, I thought. That was like 7
I'm
or 8.
pretty sure there's way more than that.
seven,
I'm-
seven,
Not including Ruin and Help Wanted 2.
Well, okay, not including those. There's one in Help Wanted 2. There's one in
I
Root.
made brownies, and also stream has gone 2 hours over. Woo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this
Yeah.
was
Sorry,
supposed
let's wrap it up.
This was gonna be an hour.
Oh, we can't wrap it up now.
Ended up pulling everybody house.
Yeah,
I'm surprised nobody had to leave
TDread.
sooner. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. I know that.
I'll be only be an hour.
real. I'll be super real. I have been like editing on the side for the past like hour and a half.
I usually be a good
I'll
idea.
for some of this stream.
No offense
just
for
doing an
everyone.
art
I did my
trade.
Duolingo while we were here.
Hey,
Oh fuck, my
I
Duolingo
pulled
streak.
Pokemon cards.
we held 300 viewers for this many hours.
We peaked
Yeah,
at like
this was pretty crazy.
Fantastic.
We peaked
We
at
were,
like
we
400.
were at 400 for a
Crazy.
little bit.
That's crazy.
I'm so proud of us.
Squawks, we should do an art trade. I'll draw you a
I'll just put all your names in the description even when you're not here.
Yeah.
Just gonna
They're
draw
here in
Yeah.
spirit, guys.
big orange eyes.
Oh, there's
Hey, if
another
anybody-
Nightmarian in Ruins Chapter 1.
Anybody out there will edit a video for me for some free art. Not really free, but you know what I mean. Let me know, please.
I'll just do
I'll
it for
draw you
fun.
something.
might do
I
it.
know.
I like
Somebody
editing. I'll
has
do it.
a.
Honestly.
If there are 7 Nightmare Owns, DM Narrow Raven.
No, somebody DM me. I have it. I got the rough cut done, and then I gave up. I'm lazy.
All right, we'll sign
if you
off
could
now,
do,
though.
like, an avatar of my character, I'm down. Yeah, I think this is a good.
Been
place
hiding
to
them
wrap up.
hostage
It's
for too long.
4
All right,
a.m. for me.
Chad.
I'm
Everybody
sleepy.
say goodbye, quick. I want to see a bunch of goodbyes in the chat.
Yeah, Chad, I
My
want goodbyes in mine too.
Bye, Chad.
I hope everyone has a great day and y'all stay
Everyone say
safe.
14
Bye-bye.
theories canon.
Yeah, 14 theory
Goodbye.
canon, 14 theory peak.
14 theories canon.
14 theories canon. 14
It's actually the
theories
only.
canon.
It's actually the
Goodbye,
only
chat
canon
you.
FNAF theory.
And Candy
JoJo's
Bunny, I
wrong.
still want
Gibby's
a
wrong.
collaboration.
Underscore, all his videos are wrong. 14 is the only canon that was ever